All right, we're good. And a fortune cookie told me I would be in the driver's seat, so let's get this shit started. Humans, metahumans, and metahuman variants, welcome to RollBound Chronicles, a series where we take you from your regularly scheduled program to play games outside of the norm for the show. Today I'm going to be taking the reins on this episode, where we will be playing a game of my own design that is known as The Last Bastion, a survival horror tabletop RPG where you play as survivors trying not only to survive, but save the world from a zombie apocalypse. The world has ended, and humanity's only hope is the cure that you and a small group of survivors possess. As the final humans on planet Earth, can you stand tall and be the last bastion? My name is Joey Xavier Kinsey, aspiring Arizona local voice actor, and soon-to-be official game designer who is going to be your scenario author for the night. Going around the table to see who our victims will be, our first player needs no introduction, but please, Dungeon Master, tell the people who you are.
My name is Chas, and I am bound to the role of Dr. Clement Weber.
Up next is the luckiest girl, formerly known as Charybdis Mobius. Please introduce yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I'm bound to the role of Jack Taylor, a war veteran.
And finally, the person whose plan is probably better than yours, but only because it's really pacifistic. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. That, of course, could be none other than me, Minnow, and I am bound to the role of Gavin Privet.
And tonight, these three individuals are going to be trying to save the entirety of the world from a plague that hit Earth 20 years ago that was known to the collective as the Rot. A horrifying disease that sprung up out of nowhere and spread like wildfire, turning once normal places, neighborhoods, hospitals especially, people by the dozens into unliving cannibalistic monsters bent on the consumption and destruction of the human race. We will start with Dr. Clement Weber. The night is close. You suspect you have maybe 3 hours of daylight left as you stand atop the observation deck on the 102nd floor of the Empire State Building. The cure has been finished, and there is quite the collection of vials in front of you. You suspect about a dozen usable. And to your right is your colleague, a geneticist whose name is largely unimportant, as everybody normally just calls him Doc, but you know him officially. And this is the part where I always fuck up as a DM, because the names are the hardest part. But I always have these, don't you worry.
With the power of editing, it'll look like you said that right when you said it.
Shh, don't you even worry about that. Dr. Hugo Tyler. He looks over to you, and you can see that there is several bags beginning to form under his eyes. He looks over at you and he says, "Hey, do you think you can take over with observation duty? I need to take a step back. I need to see if maybe Requisitions has something for us to snack on or something. I think we'll be working on this into the night."
Oh, go for it.
Thank you so much, you're a lifesaver. And he stretches out both of his arms, pushing his half-rimmed bifocals up further on his nose as he turns heel and begins to walk towards the other side of the rooftop, in the direction of what appears to be a large cache of supplies. You're not sure if it's the last fly-in that you guys are going to be receiving, but it has been the most recent one for the past few weeks at least, and that means that if HQ is running low on the goodies that keep you breathing, you might be working with a much steeper deadline than you thought.
Yeah.
Gavin.
Oh, go ahead, my bad.
Sorry.
My bad.
It's all good. I was taking a drink of water, that's why I paused. Gavin, you have kind of been leaning up against the wall. At the moment, there's somebody else out on patrol, making sure that the lower floors are not as flooded as one would assume. And currently, you sort of have this nice view at the entirety of the rooftop. The antenna, largely useless, still points upwards as this giant spire that casts a very long shadow that goes over the entirety of the platform. And you can see one of the other pieces of muscle. You're pretty sure his name was Taylor, something like that. Sharpening what appears to be some sort of large axe, probably a fire axe that he got from downstairs. The mission that you were given from the higher-ups was to basically ensure that mass production of the cure is going as planned. It's supposed to sort of be your official inauguration into your position, and failure to do so results in you not getting said position. What with the world going to shit, you kind of figured that it would be a lot easier than it is to hold a place of some sort of authority or power, but it's apparently still really fucking difficult. And as your mind is sort of going through these thoughts, you catch the sound of something odd from the floor below you. And as all of this is happening, Mr. Jack Taylor, your axe currently in your hand, a reminder as you scrape the blood, clean off the blade, and sharpen it of all of the lives that you have had to take. Hopefully, the damage that has been done will soon be undone, judging by the geneticists that are working their asses off over on the left side of the rooftop. You are halfway through one more scrape of the whetstone when you too hear a clicking noise, followed by a hissing. Before anyone is able to react, your ears begin to ring. At the same time, your vision fades. This is the same for the rest of you, as before the tinnitus takes hold, there's a very loud crash and a bang or a boom, the sound of an explosion that occurs for just a quarter of a second before your ears can no longer handle it. And you are all knocked unconscious for who knows how long. But finally, Jack Taylor, when you come to, you can see that the moon is out, and there are several fresh corpses that, judging by the damage done to the bodies, you don't think are going to be returning anytime soon. In fact, one of these bodies is on top of you, holding you down.
I think there's a moment of like coughing and sputtering as Jack comes to consciousness. Realizing there's a corpse on top of him, he just kind of like, pushes his arm underneath, between himself and the corpse, just tries to heave it off of him, so he can stand.
Yeah, and as you do so, the person that you sort of shove off of yourself, you recognize as one of the privates that was part of this detachment. You're pretty sure his name was Antonio. You never got his last name, but the damage and wear and tear that has been done to the uniform of this former soldier gives way to none other than the first name, which you already know. Now that you are sort of able to get your bearings, the ringing in your ears is still going hard, but your vision is starting to clear up ever so slightly as you take in the surroundings around you. I would like you to make me an awareness test.
Okay, so what is that? 2d6 plus my awareness rating?
Yes. Every die roll that is done in this game, while Ali is rolling her test, every single roll that is done in this game is done with 2d6 plus a modifier, sometimes minus a modifier if you are in dire straits. This time, however, because the roof is relatively quiet, your ears are still ringing, but for the most part you are using sight as your sense of choice. You would just roll your 2d6 and add your normal awareness score. So go ahead and let me know what the total for that is.
Gotcha. That's going to be a total of 5. I didn't roll snake eyes, but I got damn close.
Okay, so with a 5, your vision is a little blurred. The light has returned, but the only light that you are going off of is moonlight at the moment. There is no, there are no electric lights or even oil lamps or candles that are giving any extra color to the scenes. You are essentially looking at a lot of black and white shifting, like grayscale streaks that pass through your retinas, and you're sort of like able to make out what appears to be a lot of destroyed rubble, pieces from the building that leads into the stairwell, as well as the door itself that leads into the stairwell. You can see that there are destroyed pieces of the concrete barriers that surround the walls to make sure people don't fall off, the safety guards. Those have been broken apart, and something else that you notice is that the tower, the antenna, the radio antenna that shoots out of the middle of the building, has fallen over and put a gigantic hole in the ground just to the right of where you were lying down. You actually almost slip into it, getting your bearings, reclaiming your footing just a moment before tragedy.
It. Alright, who's not dead? Sound off.
And as you say this, Dr. Weber, you hear some weird muffled noises that come through while you are unconscious, that jolt you awake, sort of. You kind of reach up to wipe your eyes instinctively, but you notice that you're stuck underneath something heavy. You're not sure what it is. It doesn't look like a person, but you are stuck underneath something. You can't really move your arms all that well.
And you said that was me stuck under there? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Can I, when Jack called out, like, hey, who's not dead, do I hear that?
You let's go ahead and roll me an awareness test as well. Let's see how good you understand the words while you have tinnitus.
Okay, do I get any penalty to this?
Do your normal modifiers. It's just going to be a higher target number.
Okay. I got a 16.
A 16? Yeah, so at first the words kind of sound a little muffled, and then you realize that you're stuck under something, and your vision clears up right away as you sort of like look around with shifted, panicked eyes, and you hear him. Maybe he repeats himself, or maybe it just the words finally register, but you realize that he is saying to sound off.
Yeah. Clement kind of like tries to adjust enough where he can get enough air to like shout loudly, and he goes, I'm alive, but I'm stuck.
Jack, looking in the direction of the voice, says, "Oh shit, Doc, is that you? Let me come help you out." And he's gonna run over, axe in hand. I'm gonna check out what's on top of the good Dr. Weber.
Yeah, and as you kind of move your way over there at this point, now that you're sort of moving around, getting the blood pumping and allowing for that sort of momentum to build up, you shake your head real quick to rub off the rest of the rust, and looking down at the poor doctor in the predicament that he is currently in, it looks like there is what appears to be a how do I say? You know those fold-up tables? Those white fold-up tables that you can get from like most retail stores? Yeah. One of those has toppled over and onto him, and you're guessing that due to the circumstances being what they are, it would probably be kind of hard to pull yourself up from under that if you were as scrawny as him.
Well, no use in panicking. I'll get you out. And I'm just gonna fucking reach down and just fucking deadlift the table off of him.
Yeah, you don't even need to roll for it. They're actually kind of light if you're not on the receiving end of one. And Gavin, not only does the yelling of a couple of different voices bring you back to consciousness, but also you can see under the moonlight, it shines on the back of the tall-looking Jack Taylor, who is currently working on pulling somebody out from underneath a table, or rather, pulling the table off of somebody.
Yeah, he rolls over. Am I also buried underneath stuff, or am I just laying here?
No, it looks like you are currently just lying down. The position that you were in, you were on your stomach, and there was a bit of blood that had pooled up to your left from somebody that got a very unlucky piece of concrete to the dome, which has flooded slightly underneath your body, and you actually have a big ol' stain that covers up the left side of your sports coat.
Momentary panic as he checks to make sure that that blood is not his, figures out that it isn't, and then will slowly pull himself up to his feet, still a little bit dazed, and see that the Mr. Taylor is trying to pull something off of someone, and scrawny as he is going to run over and try to assist.
Yeah, and I would assume that I would probably say that by the time you get over there, the table's already off. You kind of like roll up your sleeves, you get yourself ready, reload your arms, and as you approach, he's just kind of like, there we go, and table's gone, and Dr. Clement, you're actually able to stand. There doesn't seem to be any damage done to your body, aside from a couple superficial scrapes and bruises that'll probably heal within a matter of hours.
Do that thing where I'm running over real quick and then see him just do it, so I kind of like stop and shuffle a little bit. Reach down and be like, hey, good job, thumbs up. Blood all over my face.
Good to see you're okay, Mr. Privet.
Alright. And Dr. Weber's like getting up and he's like, oh god, my back. Ugh.
Can I look around and see what the source of the explosion was, or if we're in any sort of danger right now?
Yeah, go ahead, and I would say, let's do your choice of a deduction or a awareness check test.
Yeah, we're going to do deduction, specifically trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah, go for it.
While he's doing that, can I go back to Antonio's body and check and see if he has any weaponry on him?
Yeah. While you're rolling that up, Minnow, Jack, as you sort of lift up the body, trying to see if there's anything on it of any value, you actually notice not only is his service weapon, his Beretta, on his side, you also actually see that the cache of weapons, as well as some of the armor and other supplies, like the food, the medicine, and a couple of tools, are actually still completely intact. Give or take, you might be missing a few hundred bullets, but out of the thousands that your team brought with you, all things considered, you would say that you actually got pretty lucky.
Hell yeah.
What's the total on that deduction?
That is a total of 10.
With a 10, you can tell that the source of the explosion definitely came from somewhere underneath. Not only are you able to remember that odd clicking sound from before, which happened on one of the floors below you, but you can also tell that because of the way that the tower fell and the destruction that was done to the base of the antenna, there is a bit of disturbed rubble that looks like it might have gotten hit by some sort of chain reaction, like somebody planted a bomb underneath it, and there was a chain of explosions that just happened to lead up to the antenna that knocked it or toppled it over.
So the impression that I get was that this was not an accident?
It doesn't look like it was an accident, but there's no way to tell without actually finding out where the initial explosion happened, because, again, from what you're noticing, this looks like it was a chain reaction.
Yeah, totally. Okay. he's going to look over, and I think he's going to reach up and like poke at where his glasses should be, but then looks down and sees that they are absolutely destroyed in the explosion, and just kind of takes them off and pretends that he never had them on in the first place, and said, I believe after looking at this for a while, this may not have been an accident, whatever this was. Some kind of chain reaction that led up to here.
Well, luckily most of our gear's still intact over here. What do you say we grab some supplies and go check it out and see what caused this?
When I look around, is there any other personnel that's still alive up here?
Are you going to be searching the entire rooftop, like taking a look at not only the observation deck, but also like the maintenance area and stuff like that, where they would keep all of the stuff the public isn't supposed to go near, like electrical boxes and transformers and whatnot?
I mean, I feel like that would make sense rather than assuming that everyone's dead.
Okay. Yeah. So making your way over, you take one quick loop around the safe area where the tables were set up, as well as the smoking area that was set up towards the back. And you can see that there was some sort of scuffle that happened in the smoking area, and the cigarette that one of the soldiers, you never met them before, but you knew that they were a smoker. The smoke itself has gone out, but it wasn't crushed into the ground. It looks like it just sort of fell out. And then going towards the other side where all of the maintenance gear would have been, the power box that acted as sort of an emergency generator for you guys, as well as a couple of other tools that the tech people are supposed to worry about. You actually do see a figure who is lying, or rather leaning up against what is remaining of a concrete barricade that would normally lead off of the roof.
Great. So this person is leaning over. Do I see any signs of movement, like they are breathing?
You can see a slight rise and fall. You're not able to hear any breathing if there is any breathing, however. Go ahead and I would say roll me a medicine test, and we'll give you a -2 since conditions are very low. You can't really see all that well.
Yeah. Would it be easier if So do I have any sort of weapons on me right now?
If you carried a sidearm, then you would probably have... You said you had a Glock?
Yeah.
Then yeah, you would still have your Glock on you.
Okay.
Just simple 9mm handgun, holds about 20 rounds of ammunition, and you haven't fired a single bullet the entire day.
Yeah. So gun is out. I think he's going to step forward and he's going to say, "Sound off, whoever that is," and walk forward. If I get a little bit closer, will it be easier to make that medicine check?
Yeah, I would say we can get rid of the negative. Just roll it normal if you're
Sweet.
actually approaching the figure.
I am. So I am not trained in this. However, I do have Jack of all trades, so that is a 9.
It's going to be a 9 total. Yeah, so from what you can tell, those rises and falls that you could tell were definitely chest rises and chest falls. Somebody is breathing, whoever it is. And the person that is currently leaned up against the wall has a piece of rebar sticking through the middle of his stomach that is sort of pinning him into the ground. And he says, you friendly?
I don't recognize this person.
As you approach a little bit more, the moonlight sort of is shadowing his face, but you do recognize the voice. This is Corporal Sergio.
Okay. Corporal Sergio. It's Agent Privet. I'm gonna holster the weapon and walk over to him.
Special Agent Privet. Oh, I'm glad to see you're among the land of the living still. I heard shouting and I got woken up. How long have I been out for?
It's a matter of some debate. I'm not entirely sure myself. We need to get you to the good doctor. You're not doing so well.
I don't know if I can walk with this sticking through me.
How far away was it?
By your estimation, probably 10 meters from where the good doctor is currently, next to the how should I call this? The lab setup.
Do I see any of this going down?
I would say that from where you're at next to the gear, you would probably hear it before you would see it. So you're aware of it happening.
Can I go take a look? I want to see if it would be feasible for me to like break the rebar behind him so that he can like stand up and like move around without like pulling it out of his chest, because like I would know that that would be a fucking horrible idea.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and if you're going to attempt to do that without hurting him, let's just do a roll me a toughness test.
Toughness?
Yeah, toughness.
Sure. Oh, that fell off. Oh, double sixes, baby. So it's going to be 16.
16? Nice. So, in the Last Bastion, this is the scenario author speaking to the audience at this point, rolling 2 6s or 2 1s on a die does not necessarily mean that you automatically succeed or fail. However, I typically recommend that whenever you see a player roll magnificently or terribly, if they happen to succeed or fail, judge the scenario accordingly. And in this case, I'm going to say that while a set of 6s plus your modifier normally would be enough to succeed, because you rolled so high on the dice themselves, I'm going to say that I'm going to give you a little bit of extra here. Not only are you able to you kind of like pick him up by his belt and lift him up onto his legs, from which you hear many grunts of protest as he's trying his hardest not to scream out in pain. But also, you kind of grab hold of what appears to be a rusted over, sort of like eroded spear jutting out of the back, and you're able to just kind of like, with a very fast and very forceful motion, snap it in half on the back, which would allow you to pull it out if you wanted to. Obviously, that would cause him to start bleeding out, so you might want to have some medical equipment nearby first, but it is a significantly smaller jut of metal that goes through his sort of abdominal area.
Absolutely. And now that he's free, I'm gonna like, put my shoulder under him to kind of help him walk.
Oh, this is... Oh god, I know I'm not in hell yet, but I feel like this is the closest thing on Earth.
You do look a little foobar, sir, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, shit. The doctor's safe.
As safe as can be expected, given the circumstances.
And you're bringing him over to Dr. Clement? Or Clement?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and in doing so, Clement, you are here?
Yeah, he is actually, like, back at the lab, still, like, trying to, like, reorganize everything and get anything in order. I do have a question while they were gone. So, when we started this scenario, Clement, Dr. Weber, was standing in front of, like, the cure, right?
Yes.
Are those intact?
I was going to mention that. It's a good thing that you're keeping track. Oh, excuse me, that was an atrocious fucking sound, I imagine. As you're sort of taking stock of things, this is what you are doing at the moment is currently happening at the same time as Jack and Gavin are going over and trying to help Corporal Sergio. And you are looking at the medical equipment that you have across the table, and you realize 2 things have gone wrong. The first is that your magnifying glass and the slide that you were analyzing are completely fucking trashed. which means that you're going to have to find a spare somewhere. You're not sure where that's going to be, but if you do not find one, then you will not be able to manufacture more of this cure.
Thank God I have
The
analyst
second-
and keen-eyed.
The second is that the samples that you were using to mass produce this have also been completely destroyed, and there is a lot of infected blood and viscera that cover the table with glass that you can only count your lucky stars as you see the good news. The dozen of workable cure is still intact and usable with syringes to go with it. There was no cross-contamination to be found, which is the lucky piece of all of this. But you are fairly certain that if that explosion had gone any other way, it could have gone off the side of the building or worse.
Yeah, so he's actually gonna start cleaning his workspace, like getting all the blood away. And he's also just trying to get everything usable together and get everything that he can't use or fix away, like, out of the picture. Yeah, he's trying to see if any of his, like, notes are still intact, if any of the computers still work, like, basically just finding everything that he can work with still.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Go ahead and roll me a medicine test as well. This isn't to treat somebody, this is just for your medical knowledge.
Holy shit, okay. My medicine is really good, so 17.
17? Oh yeah, easily. So you are taking stock of everything that's still there. Your synthesizer is still there, which probably would have been the hardest piece of equipment to replicate, or at the very least, procure, scavenge a second one of. So you are very glad that that is still in your possession. The synthesizer is what you had been using to not only create the solution that helps amplify the cure's effects, but also allows you to safely use infected samples and essentially turn those into a base for said cure. The other piece of equipment that you're able to recover is it's actually a box full of a bunch of miscellaneous medical supplies. There is inside of it what look to be 4 bandages. You're going to want to write these ones down because these will actually help you in combat. You find 4 things of bandages, as well as enough medical supplies to form 2 first aid kits and a trauma aid kit.
Okay.
And then seeing that tackle box kind of makes something else come to mind for a moment, but as soon as you have the thought, it is lost as you see Jack Taylor, the veteran turned lumberjack that was assisting you guys on this mission, but also CIA agent Privet in training, who is currently helping Jack sort of bring over Corporal Sergio, who you affectionately know as Gramps. And taking a look at him, he is not in the best of conditions. I would like you to make me a second medicine test.
Alright, another medicine test?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's an 11.
Okay, yeah. So as you kind of taking stock of what's going on with Mr. Grandpa here, you can see that his abdominal region, using slightly less than technical terms, is fucked. He is in a savable condition. If you are able to remove the rebar and then, or even just cut around it to the point where there isn't a significant chunk of it inside of him, his body would be able to heal around it, and you would be able to cut off the bleeding. The main problem is that a lot of that metal that went through him was rusted, which means that without the proper antibiotics, he's probably not going to be able to do much while tetanus attempts to destroy his faculties.
Do I have any sort of like medicine on hand for that in case of these kinds of injuries? Because I assume that also we're on a limited time frame, and that doing a full-scale surgery on this guy is not something I have the time to do either.
You would be able to staunch the flow and stitch him up, but it would basically be the equivalent of like World War I battlefield surgery, where you would have to rip out the fucking rebar and immediately get to work. You would have 20 minutes, and this guy would drop if you failed.
Yeah, is there anything I can do to, as mean as this sounds, stabilize him until I have more time?
Yes. Taking stock once more of the, and the thought actually returns to you as you begin thinking of a way to save his, or buy him some time. You remember that there was a, bag, not the way that you would have preferred it be stored, but there was a bag of pill bottles that were full of all sorts of, both prescription and over-the-counter drugs that you know for a fact would be able to keep him breathing for a while, and also probably ease the pain while we're at it. You check over by the supplies where the weapons and ammo are, and find inside of a freezer bag, or you find 3 freezer bags full of painkillers, anti-infectives, and a few different what's the word I'm looking for? Fucking like beta blockers and antidepressants and shit.
Yeah, basically what I'm gonna try to do is I'm not gonna try to pull it out right now or do the surgery or anything, because I don't have time to do that. Considering he doesn't know how long he's been out and how he knows that he has to do this over the cure. So what he's gonna do is he is going to get some of these things. He is going to clean the wound as much as he can for the situation. I'm gonna get this guy on some pain medication, and also some like anti-inflammatory, also anti infection stuff, just to like make it to where the wound will not get worse if I ignore him for a few hours. And then is there anywhere I can like lay him, Yeah.
You obviously don't want to lay him on the table that has the infected blood, because that's just a recipe for disaster. But you are able to kind of find a couple of slabs of rock and concrete from the walls and barriers that were once used to hold up various parts of the roof. And sort of make like a makeshift table for him to lie down on. You can use a couple of different things as a sort of pillow if you want to keep him elevated. But it's not gonna, it's not gonna be comfortable.
No, I'm just gonna find like an extra lab coat or something and like roll it up, and that'll be his pillow.
Yeah, for sure. And you actually go over to where you're kind of in the same spot right now where all of the armor and weapons and stuff are, and you actually just grab a spare change of clothes and use that as sort of like a way to keep his head elevated, keep the blood from, I forget what it's called when it all flows to the back instead of properly, but making sure that he stays in a state that is going to allow for stabilization.
Yeah, and basically, he's like, I understand you're in a lot of pain right now. However, I cannot treat you just yet. There's a lot of things that we need to do, and there is no point in treating you if we're all going to die anyway. So just lay your head back, take this medicine, and you will probably fall asleep. Try not to do that.
I'd say I've been in worse spots before, but I don't want to lie to you. I'll do what I can, thank you.
He coughs a couple of times, and you can see that bit of blood kind of spits up onto his fatigues.
And he says, oh, shit.
Yes. If we can get what we need to do done in time, I'll be able to do surgery on him. But I don't have the time to do that right now. But this will need surgery of some proportion. And he's gonna turn around to Jack, and it was Gavin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was too confident in that, so I was like, obviously I'm wrong. But he'll turn to Jack and Gavin and be like, so, I have good news, and I have terrible news. Which do you want to hear first?
I guess the good news.
The good news is that we still have 12 viables of a workable cure. The bad news is half of my equipment got destroyed in the blast.
Oh.
And
So what do
also
we
the
need?
other half of the cures are contaminated.
That's fine. What do we need?
What was it? My microfying microscope?
You're gonna need a microscope and some pieces of glass that you can use as slides to analyze blood samples, so that when you are taking it to a synthesizer, you're not accidentally using untreatable blood as a base for a cure, because that would result in a full-blown infection.
I need a new microscope, and I need everything that comes with it. I need a full set, and then you also said that the synthesizer needed repairs too, right?
No, I said you were incredibly lucky that it didn't.
Okay. But yeah, I need a fully working microscope and everything that comes with it, because all of my glass equipment has been completely destroyed.
Understood. Apart from that, what else is so pressing? We may have someone that is sabotaging us, depending on what caused that explosion. There may be other survivors that are in need of aid. I need to know what it is that we need to do right now, apart from... And he points over to the guy with a bar in his stomach.
Well,
If you say this is more important, I'll believe you, but he is dying.
he will be fine for at least a few hours. However, if we don't finish what we were doing initially and getting this cure out, there will be no reason to do surgery on him anyway, because we'll all be dead. Not to alarm anyone. I think that this will be totally in control, but you are right. We should probably look into if we're still being messed with, because if we keep continually getting reset back to square one, we won't finish anything tonight.
So just to make sure I'm not misreading this situation, where is the urgency? Like, in terms, like, obviously we want to get a microscope and we want to start making more cures. Is there a reason we need to do that in the next few hours, as opposed to a few hours after that? Because I want to make sure I understand the stakes.
I think from what I remember of what Jabi said, he mentioned something about, like, when this session started, that, like, that me and the other doctor were, like, looking at all the shit we were doing, and that we had only a few hours. I don't know if that was, like, a few hours until, like, we were just, like, out of supplies and in survival mode, or...
Oh, no. That was him saying that you only have a few hours of daylight left, and that you were going to have to probably work through the night if you wanted to figure out what it is that stabilizes the cure, because the 12 usable ones that you had were the only usable ones. The other ones were unworkable, and you weren't sure why. he was saying that you were probably going to have to work through the night to figure it out.
Okay, so then his urgency comes from anxiety. Like,
Okay.
he's just like, a good amount of stuff was, like, destroyed, and now he's like, I need to fix it.
Also, our holdout has been compromised by an explosion, so at any given moment, the unliving can come through that breach.
100%. I think, based on that, Gavin is looking around at the situation and sees, the doctor is currently covered in like dust and probably like bits of blood, and there's glass everywhere, and there's a little bit of like anxiety and panic. But then he also looks over and sees that a dude has a bar sticking out of his stomach and says, like, tell you what, for right now, why don't Jack and I go secure the place? We can sit down and we can come up with a plan. While we're doing that, why don't you take care of our friend here? We'll have a better chance of going in if we have a plan.
That works for me.
Great. Mr. Taylor,
Sir.
part of my authority as the apparently last remaining CIA operative in this building, I hereby deputize you. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. Doesn't matter. You're a deputy now. Congratulations. The country appreciates your service. I need your help to make sure this place is secure and that no one's going to get up here.
We're going to want to start where that explosion happened. Make sure we seal it off so the fuckers down below can't get up here.
Agreed. And then he's going to look over. Is there...
Joey, Mr. Taylor's going to start looking around at all of this destroyed material around us. I want to see if I can just maybe repurpose some of this rubble using the tools I have at my disposal to essentially, like, if not, like, patch the hole in the roof, at least, like, put some cross beams over it or something, so the zombies can crawl through.
Yeah, let's go ahead and call this a mechanics test or an interfacing test, whichever is higher for you.
And Joey, could I also have said that little speech there was Gavin imparting some of his leadership skills, and could this be an aid? I think aid or help usually requires me to have proficiency, or not proficiency, be trained in the skill. But if like coming up with a good plan and like getting everyone organized, is that enough to justify a help?
I would say go ahead and do you have leadership? Like have points in it?
I do. I actually have a specialization in it.
Oh, perfect. Then yeah, go ahead and roll your leadership and add a specialty die to the roll. Quick little rule explanation. A specialty die is normally we play 5e, so you can think of it as an advantage die, but it works a little bit differently. Essentially what you do is you roll your normal 2d6, but you're going to add a third die to that, just a third d6. That's going to be your specialty die. And what that's going to do is it is going to overwrite whatever your lowest die is. So essentially you're rolling 3 dice and then taking the highest 2. So go ahead and give me the total for that when you got it. But let's see, Jack, what did you get first for your... Well, actually, hold on. Let's do the specialty die first because that might add a specialty die to your roll.
Yeah, I got a 13 with a specialty die.
A 13? Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's more than enough, especially with like... I don't know. A 13 is just that's just a really high fucking roll. I don't really know how I could say no to that.
Appreciate it,
Jack, it's all good. Jack, give me that interfacing or mechanics test with a specialty die added to it as you're sort of getting pumped up from Gavin's words.
That's definitely going to be interfacing, which I don't have any points in. I just have a precision of 4.
Is there any way I can help with that? Because I have an interfacing of 4.
Well, you're doing something right now.
Yeah, we're going to have you be rolling something else while they're doing this. I would say because the amount of mechanical skill involved in this isn't too terribly much, you can go ahead and use your precision bonus in place of a skill, and then add the specialty die from being assisted.
Alrighty. So that is 13.
All right.
They got a 6 and a 3 on the die plus 4 from precision.
Yeah, that's a big fucking roll. With a 13, you get a couple of cross beams set in place, and you're able to kind of move aside some rubble that you probably would have tripped over it if you weren't trying so hard to use it for this little makeshift barricade. But what you're able to do essentially is make what looks almost like a barred cage that leads down into the floor below, and you put the cement barriers, the broken pieces of it anyways, into this large circle that if something were to try to grab onto it and pull down, like a zombie trying to climb up, for example, instead they would just pull the debris down onto themselves and probably fall back into the hole.
Okay, so is this like that almost kind of sounds to me like I've made a trap.
It's not necessarily a trap. The iron bars that cover it from bits of the debris make it a barricade. It is a cross-hatch looking gate. And if something tries to pull up and into it, then
So it's not like it'll only work once kind of situation.
Yeah, no, it's good. This is a continual thing. I'm just saying that the way that it works out is that if something were to try to supersede it, it has a countermeasure as well as just also getting in the fucking way.
Awesome. All right. Sick. Well, that should hold him for now.
Well done. And I assume at that point there is the blood-curdling scream of the guy being operated on without morphine.
Yep, I need you to roll me a medicine test. Are you going to be using the trauma or first aid kit that you found with the medical supplies for this? Dr. Clement.
Sorry, I was tapping my unmute button, and you said this is another medicine check?
Yeah, it's gonna be a medicine test, and target number for this is gonna be pretty fucking high because it's got a piece of rebar inside of them. But if you're using your kits, it will be much more effective than trying to operate on them without any medical equipment, obviously.
So, like my trauma aid kit?
Yeah, your trauma aid or your first aid kit. You can use either one.
I'll use my trauma aid kit.
Okay.
Does that add anything to the roll, or does it just make the quote-unquote, like, number I'm trying to reach lower?
It basically what it's going to do is it's going to have the same target number, but it's going to be a lot more effective in healing him.
Okay, so I got a 10.
A 10?
Do you already have specialization in it? In medicine?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you have a specialization in surgery or battlefield medicine?
I don't think so. I just have like a 6 in like the medicine skill.
Okay. Did you set up your specialties at all? Because with a 6 in psyche, you would have 4 of them. So you could specialize in surgery, and we'll just say that you did it beforehand.
Fuck, I missed that part. Okay. I would have taken that. That sounds like something I would have got. I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay.
And it's not. Is it possible to have more than one specialty dice, or what was it
Yes.
called? Okay, so would my leadership roll from before carry over here?
Yeah. Because you're getting a specialty die from 2 separate sources. One of them is your specialty, and the other one is the aid, or in this case, the leadership. So.
Sweet. So you roll 4, take the highest 2.
Yeah, roll 4 dice, take whatever your 2 highest are.
Sick.
Okay. That changes my roll to a 15.
A 15, okay. This man does have multiple injuries. If you would like to heal those both at the same time, then you can go ahead and give me another medicine test, because you do need to do them separately from one another.
Okay. Alright, I got double 6s on this, so that is...
Nice.
Yeah,
Should be an 18 for you, right?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So with a 15 and an 18, not only are you able to get rid of his the 2 injuries that he accrued, one from the explosion itself and then another from the piece of rebar, you are also able to heal 6d6 hit points because of the use of the trauma aid kit. So go ahead and add that together and let me know how many hit points you give him. he's at 0 right now, so whatever your number is, that's what his total HP is for the moment.
I heal him for 21.
21? Sick. So he's actually... So you are able to... like you knew you were going to have to, you kind of have a little bit of a rush put on you, not because of the other 2 personnel having you work on him at the moment, just by the nature of his injuries. You give yourself a countdown, take a deep breath, rip out that rebar, which results in a very loud scream from Gramps, who cannot possibly keep it out. But you also immediately get to work. You clean up the affected area, try to remove as much rust as you can from bits of metal that fell into the open wound. And then you are also able to get it filled with a decent bit of pain medication so that he does not continue to scream. And you are able to just kind of do your thing. You sew it up, you look inside, make sure that all of the areas that are torn up are closed. There is a lot of medical equipment inside of this trauma kit that is essentially saving this man's life in a way that you thought you would only be able to do inside of a hospital. The only thing that would make this better is if you had a ventilator to keep his breathing steady. And after a stroke of miracle work, you cover his abdomen with a very large bandage. And you're pretty sure that he is going to recover, but he's probably going to need a tetanus shot sometime in the next week or so, but that's for future you to worry about.
Sweet. So we come walking back over after the surgery is successful and after the hole in the floor is now patched up. Gonna head back, walk inside. I assume he's probably out of it after that ordeal.
Yeah,
so
he's passed out. He's unconscious.
Going to look over. What is Clement's last name? 1 second, I know this.
Weber.
Okay. He's going to say, all right, Dr. Weber, Deputy Taylor. Things are a little bit tense right now, but regardless, we are still sticking to the plan. A couple things that we need to keep in mind. We're going to need to keep at least 2 of these cures at all times. One of them we will need, so that way the good doctor can continue to replicate it, and the other we are going to need in case the good doctor gets turned. Obviously, that is something that would be a failure if we were not able to undo that. That being said, I know that it's risky, but I do think that we need to take these cures with us, and we need personnel to back us up. There are many, many things roaming around down there that could be friends again, and I think that priority 1 should be getting down there to get some help for ourselves. After that, priority number 2 is going to make sure that we get the equipment as soon as possible. Do we know when the next, this is a question for Joey, do we know when the next drop-off is going to be, when they're coming to pick up the cure?
As far as you know, it's supposed to be sometime by the end of the week. By humanity's count, which could be wrong due to the first few months of panic and desperation.
Yeah, totally.
But you're pretty sure that tonight is Thursday, January 6th, and they're supposed to be here on Sunday.
January 6th, what year?
January 6th of what year? The year after this one.
Okay.
I don't know when January 6th is. I'm just making up a fucking number.
Well, it's great that you chose the date of the insurrection, was what threw me off.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. I thought you were going for like a really good metaphor. Like, whoa.
Nope, that was an accident. I just said a random date off the top of my head.
Wait, well, you don't cut that part out. We'll pretend that you meant it the whole time. So it's January 6th, 2021.
Got you.
As we all know. And great. So he's going to say, we'll need to keep a few of these, obviously, just to be safe, as they could be dropped, contaminated, whatever. But that being said, we do need to use a few of them now, and then once that is done, we'll be able to start saving the other people in this building once the doctor has his equipment again. So I suggest that we begin our descent down now. Going to look over the other guy. Does he still have his weapon? What was his name? Sergio?
Yeah, Corporal Sergio. His battalion calls him Gramps or Grandpa. You're not part of his battalion. You just call him Corporal Sergio.
Yeah, I'm not included in that. Great.
From what you can tell, just based off of because his uniform and all of his other personal effects needed to be moved. He apparently had his sidearm as well, another Beretta, same kind that the private had that Jack got his pistol from.
Okay.
And then he also had a boot knife.
Okay. I want to grab some weaponry for all of us. I want to leave him his pistol because God forbid something gets up here and he doesn't have a gun when he's awake. That would be very bad. But yeah, anything else that we can get for ourselves, I want to start adding in. I'm going to grab that boot knife and I'm going to hand it to the doctor.
All right. For the purposes of stats, this is going to count as a hunting knife. It's a big ass fucking knife.
Okay, so I'll look at the document and put that information in my things.
All right, and then I think that Taylor has a Beretta and a big old axe. I have my Glock 19. Is there anything else around here that we could use as a weapon?
You do have a big assortment of military-grade weapons that is located inside of a cache on one side of the roof, which could be used by you guys right now, or if you want to hold on to them until you're able to cure some of the people downstairs, it would be effective weapons for them as well.
Okay.
And then there is also not just weapons, but there are... let me take inventory real quick. You guys haven't used any of this, so I'm just gonna read off what is there. You guys have one suit of bomb squad gear, which very difficult to move around in, but offers a shit ton of protection. And then you also have 5 Kevlar jackets, and a flak jacket.
5 Kevlar, 1 flak, 1 bomb disposal unit.
Yep.
Could I take the bomb squad gear?
Yeah, you can grab whatever you want. That's up to the other players, though, if they're going to try to stop you.
No, not if you think it's a good idea. That's great. Both the doctor and I are going to put on the Kevlar vests, and I think we're going to just grab like a knife or anything that's in the armory.
Okay.
That way I'm not just firing a gun.
Yeah, so if you're going to grab a knife, you can grab... I mean, they have an assortment of light blades. You could also grab a machete if you wanted one, or you could get like something improvised if you wanted to make something up there.
I think he just wants like a little light blade that he can stab in something's eye. Rather than needing to swing him, rather than needing to break a skull, he's hoping to go for the eye because he has little spaghetti arms.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. In that case, go ahead and give yourself a hunting knife as well.
Delightful. All right. Anything else we need before we head down?
I'm gonna grab a bolt action rifle while we're up here, just so that way I have a little bit more of a range capability if we need it.
Okay.
All right. So let's plan to use the hand weapons first, unless we get overwhelmed. And grabbing some ammo, I assume that's fine. And we head down, trying to get to the next level, seeing if we can find any useful people to revive.
Also,
I'm going to. Do we have a headlamp up here by any chance?
Yeah, you could get a headlamp. We'll just call it a lantern.
All right.
Great.
I'm gonna put on a headlamp and I'm gonna take point.
Also, is there just a basic bitch handgun? I do have skill in that, so I can take it. One.
You have handguns? Yeah. Are you looking for something like light with a lot of ammo, or are you looking for like a big heavy boy?
Light, because like the stuff that Weber has, like skills in is like crossbows, and handguns.
Well, I mean, there is a crossbow. If you want a crossbow, you can get it like a recurve crossbow. And then there is
Cool.
also, if you're looking for what is essentially a holdout pistol, then you can grab a 22 or a 5.7. Both of them have a lot of ammo. Now that I'm looking at it, give yourself a 5.7.
Yeah,
Great.
he's just, he's looking for something light. So,
Yeah.
he'll take those two
we
things.
we will each take 2 cures with us. One for a person that we think may be a good idea, and another for ourselves. That
So
leaves
you're
us
taking
with a
6
total of 6 back
So you're taking-
upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 6 down, 6 up.
Yes.
And you guys are
Great.
going to start descending into the depths.
We are descending into the depths.
Yep.
And
Darkest
Jack,
dungeon style.
you are taking point.
Yep, taking point,
of
fire
the
action
darkest
hand.
dungeon.
I will put
All right.
we'll put Doctor in the middle and myself in the rear.
Doc in the middle, you're in the back.
Doc
That
is
favorable
slightly
to-
more important than the rest of us.
Yeah, that favorable to you, Clement.
Repeat that question one more time.
I'm asking if the marching order is fine. I'm making sure we all agree on the marching order. Jack
Oh.
up front, you in the middle, and then Gavin
Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Sorry, I was adding all that stuff to my inventory before I forgot.
All good. And then, as a quick little side note, when I was talking about those medicines that you had, that was not the first aid kits. Give yourself a bottle with 6 uses of an anti-infective. And 2 doses of beta blockers, antidepressants, and a singular adrenaline shot.
Hell yeah. We descend.
All right. Jack, since you are taking point, I would like another either deduction or awareness test, your choice.
I'm definitely taking awareness because that's the one that I have points in.
For show.
That is 11 plus 4 is 15.
Damn, good ass roll.
Sorry, excuse me. 11 plus 2 is 13.
11 plus 2. Yeah, okay. With that, you make your way inside of the stairwell with where the door that actually leads down into the stairwell itself has been blown open. And as you look down into the stairwell, you can see the very, very long way to the bottom. About 22 floors down, the staircase appears to be destroyed. You wouldn't be able to go down further than that. You would need to find another way down via either a working elevator, which good luck, or a fire escape from one of the other rooms or floors.
What's the distance of this gap?
The distance of the gap? How do you mean? Like from where you're at to the bottom?
Yeah.
You are 102 stories up, so that's like at least 300-ish meters.
You're talking about the elevator shaft. My apologies. I thought we were looking at a staircase, and it was just like some of the stairs were broken. I misunderstood.
Well, yeah, that too. But like, you know how when you go into a stairwell, you're
Yeah.
not only walking up the stairs, but there's also that the empty space in the center that you normally grab onto a handrail to stop yourself from falling over the side and into the depths.
Yeah.
That is what I'm talking about when you're saying that you're looking down from the top of the stairwell to the bottom floor. You can't even see all the way down because it's just that big of a stairwell.
Okay, but the whole stairwell is fucked though.
After you get down to like the what's 102 minus 26? The 86th floor? Yes.
Do we have a handle on what was on the were we only on the top floor and like all other floors were lost to us?
Yeah, essentially. As far as the layout of this place goes, for anybody who's been to the Empire State Building, you'll know this. But for those who have not, it is 102 stories tall. The 102nd floor and the 86th floor are observation decks. The 102nd floor is also right where the roof is as well. Normally, people aren't allowed there for obvious reasons, unless they're doing like some kind of weird sightseeing thing. I think you need to pay to get up there. Either way, that top floor, the roof, the observation deck, that is what you guys were using as your safe space.
Great.
Everything below that is not necessarily compromised, but unaccounted for. You've been doing regular patrols to make sure that nothing crawls up from down below and sneaks up on you, essentially.
Okay. In any of our patrols, have we noticed anything in the next couple floors, or should we just skip right down in terms of like medical equipment?
In terms of medical equipment, you're not sure where any of the extra stuff would be at. You would assume probably in one of the office areas. There might be a break room inside one of the offices that
Sure.
somebody was using for medical storage, as people
Great.
were wont to do during the apocalypse. But the only person that might know currently is noticeably missing, and that is the other doctor, Dr. Taylor.
Other Dr. Taylor? Not our Deputy Taylor?
Dr. Tyler.
Yes. Dr. Tyler, sorry, thank you.
Got it. Great. No problem. In that case, let's go down to the next floor that appears to be one of the office areas, and we'll start checking them off.
Yep.
Yeah.
So heading down to floor 101, there is the exit to the stairwell that leads onto the floor itself. You know how there's those doors, the big metal ones that have the wire frame glass that cover the inside of it so that you can see through, but it's also like resistant to being punched or broken or attacked or whatever?
Yeah.
One of those doors is covering, or not covering, but rather one of those doors leads onto the 101st floor, and you can actually see immediately that there is a zombie with his hands. He's trying to get through. You don't hear anything because dead don't breathe, but he very clearly wants to not be behind that door anymore.
Mhm.
And taking a look at it, you can see that it is a person that at one point in time was a darker skinned man, but the color has been drained from his face, and he has a very unkempt looking beard with a hairdo that pulls back into a large bun on the back of his head.
Does he look like someone who may be useful to us?
He's got a rifle on his back, and you can see a pack full of supplies. It seems like whatever happened to this guy, he just got really unlucky because he seemed geared to survive.
Hell yeah. Let's get in there and jab the guy.
All right, how are we going to do this?
So the door, I assume, is
Do we have
is
to get in
locked.
there to jab the guy, or is he like reaching through the fucking broken ass window?
He can't reach through the window. The window is still covering the door. He's currently smacking on the door itself. You could hear the banging as he's trying to, like, get in.
I have.
Are the hinges on our side or his side?
Your side, I believe, because if
Yeah.
they were to... Yeah.
Can I
Because
use the glass
the door would
breaker
open, it
on
would
the
open
fire
towards you.
axe to punch out the hinges?
To do what? I'm sorry.
Can I use the glass breaker on the fire axe to punch out the hinges since it's a breaching tool?
Yes. Go ahead and make me a... We're going to call it an accuracy test. Actually, no, fuck that. Just roll me damage and double it for the breaching aspect of the weapon.
Okay. So, let's see here. So that's 3d6 plus double my power. And because I have built like a tank, my power counts as 8.
Okay, so it's going to be 3d6 plus 18 then?
Yep.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll that for me.
And then you said whatever that is doubled?
Yes, whatever that is, doubled because you are using the breaching tool.
So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 28, 31, 62 points of damage.
62 points of damage to that door. Yeah, that is more HP than most creatures have. You pretty easily snap off the hinges on either side of the door. Or not either side of the door, but the top and bottom sides of the door, I guess I should say.
Absolutely. And then I'm just going to kick that fucker in an attempt to pin this zombie.
Yeah, let's make a brawling test for kicking the door in.
I will say, I do have a thing here that says I do not need to use an action on my turn to keep an enemy pinned.
Yeah.
I don't know if that like counts towards like anything here, but
no, that's only for the purposes of like doing a shit ton of actions in a turn. That doesn't matter for right now. We're not in an encounter.
So you said rolling, so that's 2d6 plus 6 for me.
Yep.
So that's 16.
A 16, yeah. So you kick the door, and you can see that the door, it doesn't fall over per se, at least not immediately. What happens is your leg makes contact, there's a loud thudding noise, and it actually gets pushed forward ever so slightly. This in turn causes the zombie that is behind it to sort of stumble backwards, and then the door begins to fall on top of him, and since his arms are kind of already outstretched in front of him, the door lands on his arms, and he is falling backwards, kind of like now on the ground.
While he is falling down, can I rush in behind and jab him with a syringe?
Let's roll...
Oh no.
Hear me out. Go ahead and make me a balance test.
Sure. Using jack of all trades here. So I'm adding 0.
Yep.
Would you say that the door knocking him over is an assist here?
If you're trying to pull him out from under the door, I would say that it's almost working against you if you're trying to stop him from hitting the ground. If you're trying to grab him out from off of the ground, then you don't even need to roll for it. That might be me misunderstanding.
No, what I'm trying to do, because the door is kicked over,
Yeah.
falls on top of him, zombie starts to fall. I assume like his arm or like his foot or something is sticking out from underneath the door. I'm sprinting up from behind it, just jabbing whatever part of flesh I can see to get a syringe into him.
Oh, okay, I see. So you don't give a shit about him being on the ground. You just want to...
No, I am so happy he is on the ground and that his chompers are behind a door.
Oh, excellent. All right, perfect. So, with that, with the door currently essentially making this creature inept, you, with a swiftness, sort of like run through. You have to lift the door up ever so slightly, but that just brings his arm reaching towards you instead, which is perfect because you grab his wrist and stick it in his arm. And as this happens, or rather, as you do this, something amazing happens as we introduce our fourth player. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Groove.
And who are you bound to the role of?
This man, as he skitters and sputters under the door, the groans of the undead heard into the confused shouts of a newly restored man. And wartime Hancock cries out, What the hell? What come on? What are you doing? Shit,
Hey.
get this shit off of me!
Hey, pal.
I swear to God, if you're trying to get those cures! No, I gotta get to the top of this building right now!
No.
Oh,
Hey,
God!
buddy.
Oh,
All right, so I'm going to look over. I'm going to look over him. I'm actually going to look at him through the glass on the door that is currently smushed up against his face,
Oh,
Yeah.
God, you're way too
And I'm
handsome for this.
and I'm going to say, "Hey, pal, welcome back to the land of the living." I'm going to hold up this syringe that I just used on him, and I'm going to say, "How would you like to save the world with us?"
Whoa. Land of the... I turned?
You turned. Oh shit! I'm getting his accent. You turned, my friend.
And now I'm unturned?
You are unturned.
Oh, that must mean y'all have the cure with you. So it's really true then.
Yeah. Here, let me get this off you, and I will get the door off of him.
As Gavin steps up to get the door off of him, I think Jack just like effortlessly lifts it.
Yeah.
Man must have 3 zombies on his back while he was crushing on my chest there. Shit.
This is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. I'm going to be doing that fucking voice all night. I am no longer doing a voice for Gavin. For everyone listening, this is it now. Just my regular ass voice.
Yeah,
For sure,
and
it's just there.
for those of you that actually saw the process happen, when the glowing blue liquid that under the moonlight really does shimmer like crystal enters his veins, normally the vitals of a zombie are completely trashed. There is no blood flow, the heart does not pump, the lungs do not expand and deflate with oxygen unless the wind kicks up a particularly heavy breeze, forcing air into their lungs. However, once the cure takes hold, there is a sort of jolting and jittering that happens, like kick-starting someone's heart with a defibrillator, which is not what they're for, but it's for the narrative. Go with it. The stuttering and almost seizure-like movements of a body that have been returned, as they say, are accented by the return of color to the skin, the eyes. And something that you notice about this survivor's eye, one of them in particular, is that it is actually glossed over with heavy, what look almost like cataracts. And the wrinkles and age and decay that looked like they were getting ready to take hold and make him look less than human have almost nearly vanished, as if the cure itself has turned back time, restoring this man's body to how it was just the moment, the instant before whatever infected him was able to get the job done.
Have we ever actually, field tested this before?
No, you certainly haven't. It worked in theory.
Yeah? I think Gavin is, literally crying right now.
Yeah.
Keeping it together, but, holy fucking shit.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Clement
I'm not
is
that ugly, am I?
he's clutching his jacket and his hand is shaking because he saw, because when Gavin went to do it, he was like, oh wait, we should be a little more cautious.
Yeah, I imagine Gavin was screaming the whole time he ran up there too, ah!
and Clement is he's holding the crossbow like a child holding a teddy bear, and then he slowly relaxed and he was like, oh my god, it worked better than we thought it would.
Alright. Well, pal, first of all, my name is Agent Gavin Privet. This is my friend here, Deputy Taylor, and then of course we have Dr. Weber. We are in the process of saving the world. We have hit a minor hiccup. What is your name, first of all?
Hancock. Wartime Hancock. It's a pleasure.
Likewise. First of all, congratulations on being the first person that's ever been returned. We did not know that would work, and we're really glad it did. But ignore that. Other thing, we're currently fucked. Right now.
We're fucked?
Sort of.
Why?
An explosion went off on the roof where we were staying. It destroyed some of our medical equipment. We still have 11 cures that are left. But if we're going to mass produce them, we need to find some more stuff. On top of that, there is a chance that someone sabotaged us. So we may have enemies in this building apart from just the walkers.
Well, if my name ain't Wartime Hancock, we're going to get those cures out. I swear to you. Now, what do we... Wait. Shit. Wartime is going to look at his rifle. And, Joy, what kind of rifle is Mr. Hancock holding?
You have proficiency with long guns, right?
Yeah, specialization.
Specialization in long rifles. In that case, it would probably... I mean, it's up to you. I would just imagine just a standard 7.62.
Perfect.
7.62 bolt action.
Got it. Oh, thank God Bertha's still all right.
Who's Bertha?
Bertha is this year my finest companion till I met y'all. Holds up the gun.
Got it.
Now, let's say you, me, and Bertha go and get those cures out. What are we doing now?
Oh, we need to find some more medical equipment. Most of the fragile stuff that was in the top floor has been destroyed. We have the ability to remake it. We just need a couple things. Doctor, what do we need? He points over his shoulder.
We need a microscope.
Need a microscope.
And everything that comes with it, all the glass slides, everything like that. Mine was completely destroyed in the blast.
Well,
And
it's a pretty big building. I'm sure there's got to be a microscope somewhere.
that's what we thought.
Any idea where we could find one?
I was going to ask if you knew, but I'm going to take that as a no.
Yeah.
Wait, I might have seen one. It was a essay.
Yeah.
As did Hancock on his way up see a microscope?
Roll me a concentration test.
Concentration. Okay.
Do you know how to do that? Or are you trained in that?
That's a psyche skill, right?
Yeah, it is a psyche-based skill. If you don't have it, it's just going to be 2d6 minus 2.
Well, I can try and impart my knowledge onto you.
Yeah, I
I
also
do
have
have
3 in
concentration.
Sick.
Oh, he does have concentration? Never mind then. In that case, I will
No.
aid you. And I'm going to say it would have been like on one of these types of floors, we think, like maybe an office, maybe something like that. Since I am trained, can I give him a specialization dice?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
Okay, so I will re-roll my lowest. Then I will add my bonus, which is plus 4. That's going to be an 8 plus 4 is a total of 12.
Nice. Usually, at least as far as you know, Dr. Weber, when people have been returned, you've never actually been able to test this because the cure is intensely fatal to people that are not, dead. This guy shouldn't really be able to walk around and talk too much. You think that he must have been turned moments before that explosion happened, or maybe even when the explosion happened. Hancock, as you're going back to what happened before the explosion, you remember you were able to get to the top floor. You saw some weird looking guy. You thought he might have had the cure on him. He was running down one of the hallways, so you gave chase and ended up walking into a trap, and from there the rest is a blur. But when the mention of a microscope comes to mind, you do actually remember seeing this guy. The box that he was carrying in his arms looked kind of like it had a microscope in it. You think if you can find that guy, he might have the tool that they're looking for.
Yeah, I do remember a microscope. It was, where was it?
It was somewhere on one of the floors below. You ended up chasing him up here. You don't know where he went, but he's still somewhere in this building within, you're not sure how long you were out for, but you would say give or take 5 floors.
I skittered after him. Couldn't have gone far. Must be within 5 or so floors of here. I'm sure we
Great.
can find him again.
Sounds like Dr. Tyler. Why was he leaving with a microscope? Did it look like a medical professional or a scientist?
You don't remember.
Yeah, when I started chasing him, I don't know. Maybe Bertha scared him away, but he was not happy to speak to me, let me tell you.
Oh, all right. Well, either it was Dr. Tyler, but why would he be taking supplies away right before the explosion? Or it was maybe one of our friends that caused the explosion? Either way, I think we'll have to keep an eye out for everything. Did you finish? How long have you been on this floor? Anything here we need?
Hell if I know. Came straight up, turned away, and that's about all I remember.
Got it. I'll look back to Jack. I'm going to say, keep an eye out for anything sneaking up behind us. I think we're about to get moving soon, but it makes me a bit nervous. Dr. Weber, you were about to say something?
Yeah, he's holding his hand on his chin and he goes, right before the explosion, Dr. Tyler had relieved himself to go look for something to eat, saying that he was getting tired. And I mean moments before.
Could be luck. Could be more. We'll be sure to ask him when we find him. But if he's running, we should run too. I'm going to help this guy up. Want to travel with us, Wartime?
Hell yeah. Let's save the world.
Congratulations. I now deputize you in the name of the United States, blah, 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 whatever. You're fine. Okay.
And to think I used to be a felon. All right.
Well, this is the land of opportunity, Mr. Hancock. All right. So we will form up again. Let's put Hancock in the back behind me, because I am we. And it sounds like we want to continue down about 5 floors, right?
Are you guys going to go straight down 5 floors, or are you going to try to search each of these floors individually?
Yeah, Wartime will see that everything in his pack has been thoroughly destroyed, and he's going to try and recover some gear on these floors.
Okay. If that is what you are going to do, is everyone else going to assist him in that endeavor? Just try to scavenge these floors, see if there's anything useful, or maybe find some clues to where this mystery figure might have gone?
Mr. Taylor will go where his group directs him.
Good point. I guess he couldn't get far down if the stairs are out. So he may have doubled back. Because, I'm assuming that there's more than one stairwell.
Yeah, there would be multiple stairwells.
May have doubled back. Yeah, why don't we search around for a bit?
All right. I would like the whole table to make me deduction or awareness rolls. Your choice. If you have proficiency, or in this case, if you have a skill rating higher than 2 in awareness or deduction, you can instead decide to aid somebody else at the table for a specialty die. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to hit the bathroom, and now I get to say that thing Chas says all the time and we completely ignore sometimes. Roleplay amongst yourselves for a moment.
Hey, what do you all think of cock? Hey, Chas, when was the last time you shit your pants?
I plead the 5th.
Wow, coward.
By the way, I have a +6 to awareness.
Cool. I have a plus.
I'll help you because I get a +2.
Got it. I have a +4 with a specialty in deduction. Nice.
Joey's like, hey, you guys are the last survivors in this apocalyptic event. And I'm like, cool. I'm going to play the troggiest character I possibly can.
He is kind of just like a dad.
Yeah.
Drew, is this a Dead by Daylight character?
No.
No, I looked up Apocalypse Wartime Hancock, and that showed up.
Oh, nice. Never gonna ask if Wartime is his actual name. So what do we think, dude? Is Dr. Tyler trying to sell the cure to Umbrella Corporation or some such?
You know, the funny thing is, I don't know, because I don't know anything about the guy, because I didn't know he existed until we started playing.
Yeah.
He got, like, one line of dialogue, and then fucked off. So, like, could be.
Yeah. He basically said, I need some snackies, and then all of a sudden the roof exploded.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry for souls. I'm gonna blow up the roof.
You know what? I, too, would maybe blow something up if I got too hungry.
I would.
In Minecraft?
I'd blow up a Kroger and take all the food.
Wow.
Why do you have to blow it up to do that? You can just go in.
Diversion.
Diversion.
I've watched a lot. I've watched a lot of action movies, and the best way to steal things is to blow shit up nearby. Because like people really stop caring about like corporate property when explosions start happening.
How dare you? I would never. As a filthy American corpo rat, I would never disappoint the shareholders.
Well, then you would be one of the people caught in the blast, and you would.
Yeah, I'd be one of the people that died. 100%. I'd be one of the people in the smoke that's like, "What's going on?"
You would not care because you would not exist anymore.
The parts of me that would care would be splattered across the wall.
All right, I'm back, and I kind of wish I'd grabbed some water too, but we'll be fine.
What was the last thing that went through your mind? My ass.
So with those awareness and/or deduction tests, what are the totals? And let me know what skill you rolled.
I got
14 deduction.
I got a 16 awareness.
Okay. Those are the only two rolls?
I got a history.
Wartime Hancock got an 8 awareness, which is
Okay,
not
so
actually half.
12 awareness. Forgot to add my mod.
You lied to us.
And then what did you get, Jack?
I didn't roll.
Oh, you didn't roll? Ah, fair enough. Okay, perfect. So Hancock and Doc, the two of you are kind of just searching around, seeing if there's anything usable up here that might aid in these 5 floors that you're kind of going between to not only assist in the case of Doc, possibly acting as a replacement for an important piece of the puzzle here to get everything working again, but also in the case of Hancock to refill your stores and make sure that anything that you had lost at one point is no longer lost. Hancock, you don't really find much inside of these office floors because the majority of what fills up these office floors, being that they are just, typical kind of office spaces that you would expect, cubicles, meeting rooms, maybe a break room or two here and there. Aside from some food you find, which isn't going to matter for the one shot, you do find what appears to be a clip that will assist in the reloading of your bolt action rifle, as well as a pair of where are they at? A pair of optical sights. Looks like there was somebody had a Bible Glock at their desk. There was a red dot attached to it. Glock itself out of ammo, but the red dot on it looks like it's still pretty usable.
We'll take all of it. Instead of optical sights?
Yeah, optical sights. Whenever you attach them to your weapon, if you decide to take aim as part of your turn during combat, it gives you an extra +1 on top of your normal accuracy bonuses. And then as far as the good doctor is concerned, you find what looks like a bottle of vitamins that somebody had inside of their desk. Other than that, you see a lot of stuff that looks expired. You probably wouldn't be able to use any of this, and none of the tools that people kept inside of makeshift infirmaries that were being used out of the break rooms and stuff like that, none of it looks particularly usable. Scalpels are dull. Other instruments for, what are they called? Droppers and stuff like that. All of the rubber and glass on them is ruined. It could result in medical mishaps, so to speak.
Good to know, but I'll take that bottle of vitamins.
Yes.
You know what?
How
many uses does it have?
bottle of vitamins has got 6 uses in it.
Okay.
And it will give you a +1 to basically all of the bonuses that you take for the rest of the session. But you might not want to use it right away, because the next source of healing that you receive after taking them is increased by a d6.
Okay.
Does my 14 deduction come up with anything?
Yes, your 14 deduction, as the other 3 are sort of looking around for any scavengeable materials, tools, weapons, ammo, anything that they can find. Weapons and ammo are mostly taken care of by your benefactor, thankfully, so the lack of ammo in this place isn't necessarily too much of a bad sign. But you are able to see that there is what appears to be some streaks of blood that go down a fire escape outside of one of the break rooms, and you start to kind of like make your way down to see where the blood streaks lead to, but the wind begins to pick up, and the shattered glass windows and walls of some of these office areas allow the wind to pass through. And as this gale enters the building and moves throughout it, you are able to hear a handful of the telltale that come from the floors below. It is your decision to push forward and see if you can move through stealthily, or you can go back up to the group on the, we'll say, 98th floor, because this would be below those first 5.
Hey, y'all, full transparency, stealth with Mr. Jack Taylor, not gonna happen. I have no points in stealth, and I'm wearing fucking noisy-ass armor.
Yeah, I assume the armor, I haven't looked it up, but I assume it's not great for stealth. But it sounded like a pretty full floor.
Oh yeah, the floor below you, the 97th floor, looks like you're going to start running into resistance around there.
Mm-hmm.
But you did see what looked like some blood streaks. Fresh, by the way. Like
someone had been wounded and tried to go through here.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Deputy Hancock, this person that you saw running by, were they wounded?
Essay?
Roll me. Nah, what did we have for your previous concentration test? It was like a 13 or a 12 or something like that?
Close, yeah.
I would say that you remember that there was that when they were running, they did look kind of like a wounded deer because they had some red trickling off of them. You couldn't really tell the severity of the injury, though. You just know that they definitely were in a bit of a bind.
Yeah, that's why I was chasing them. I was trying to offer them a bandage or something. They look pretty hurt.
All right. Looking over at the streets of blood.
I'm pretty sneaky beaky. I bet I could maybe climb through the ceiling, take a quick look before we commit to anything gnarly.
Yeah. Why don't you scope the floor out? I think that because Gavin is trained, he is going to aid you here in stealth. Basically pointing out, when I was looking down, I saw a couple different, point out some Metal Gear Solid vents to try and give him some assistance.
Who's making the stealth roll?
Sounds like Mr. Hancock.
Okay, so you're going to try to make your way through some ventilation to see into the floors beneath you what exactly is going on down there, what the damage is, so to speak.
Yep.
All right.
I think I'll get the other 2 nearby your entrance point in case you come out screaming and running, and we will try and cover you.
for surezies, give me a stealth test, Mr. Hancock.
Stealth, so
With
I do have a
specialization.
+6 and specialization. Oh, I already have specialization. Can I get double?
You do.
Okay. I'm gonna roll 46, keeping the highest 2. Then add 6. That's 16 stealth.
16. Well-known fact, zombies not very good at searching for people. They just kind of walk up on them and then chow down. At least the normal ones, anyways. Let me go ahead and... How do I not have my dice right the hell next to me? I put the box on my fucking desk. Where did they go? Alright, we'll just roll it digitally. Who gives a shit? Alright. So with that... Yeah. You are currently crawling through one of the ventilation shafts. You are able to see through the grating below you onto the 97th floor. And there are quite a lot of walkers, just, the normal ass slouchers, shamblers, whatever non-Zed word you want to call them. And they appear to just kind of be standing around. There is one guy that is chowing down on a body. It looks pretty old from what you can tell. Like, the body was just too damaged to turn, and now they're snacking on it just because they don't got nothing better to do. However, crawling around along one of the walls, you can hear the telltale clattering and skittering sound of bone against the from what you can tell is just the wooden brick foundation wall. The wallpaper has long since been torn off at this point, and right now it just sort of looks like a bare concrete reinforcement. There is what looks like a corpse with spears that replace its forearms, and it's skeletal almost in appearance. As you can see, the skin on it has been stretched and pulled back as if it has undergone an incredible amount of decay. And it, real quick, just out of the corner of your eye, you were able to latch onto it for a second as you notice the movement, and it's gone as soon as it arrives. But some sort of bony-looking zombie just skitters across the wall like a spider.
No.
I should have pissed before I climbed into this vent. Shit. Okay. Does it seem to notice wartime?
No, it goes right along with whatever its business was.
Yeah, wartime is going to keep it crawling, looking for a microscope.
Yep, and now I would like a... if you're just looking for the microscope, you don't find one.
Okay,
however, real quick, did Gavin did you let them know about the blood streaks that you saw on the fire escape?
Yeah. I brought everyone over to where he was, and we went over the plan that Mr.
Case,
Hancock was going to rush in.
Yeah, in that case, go ahead and roll me a survival test.
Survival, okay. No additional to this, so it'll just be 2d6 minus 2. That's two sixes. That's a 10.
Okay, so with the 2 6s, a 10 is... Yeah, you do end up losing the trail. However, you lose the trail going into an elevator shaft. You assume it would continue down there. You don't really have a way to keep following the blood, though, without falling out of the vent and going into what you can currently see is an empty elevator shaft through the grates of the vent.
Okay. What if I were an experienced parkourer? Would I be able to continue following the trail?
You would have to jump out of the vent and then go into the elevator shaft because the ventilation for the rest of the building, it would be connected. It would be two separate. Like you would have to. How do I explain this in a way that makes sense? You would have to go through a very convoluted ventilation system to get to where the elevator is. It would take you, while you're crawling around on your hands and knees, probably a good 20 minutes to get to the elevator shaft from your current position. And that's assuming that you know where you're going inside of the vent system. You have no idea what this place's AC is like. You didn't install it. So you would kind of be wandering around aimlessly trying to find the right connection to get into the elevator without actually falling onto the floor below you.
Okay. In that case, seeing the strange walker and the convoluted obstacle in front of him, he's going to shimmy back, and report to the group what he saw.
Hey, does that sound like anything we've gotten any sort of intel reports on from the higher-ups that drop stuff off for us?
Let's have the CIA agent in training and the doctor roll a couple of medicine tests.
Medicine? Okay.
Yes. This would fall outside of your specialty, Dr. Clement, so just make this a normal medicine roll.
Right,
Okay,
jack
so
of all trades.
when you say normal,
Like, just add your normal bonuses. There's no specialty dice or nothing, because your specialty,
okay.
we've decided, was in surgery. This is outside of the realm of your specialty, so you would just
Okay.
roll a regular medicine test.
That's a 12.
That is
12.
an 11.
An 11? So, Gavin, you're not sure. You've read a couple of different intel reports, but it's hard to say exactly because the majority of what they gave you didn't have anything to do with the actual patient records, as they call them. But not Gavin, Clement. I keep doing that because I know a YouTuber. Dr. Weber, just so that I stop confusing myself. The patient record for those particular kinds of zombies has a very long and drawn-out name, but to the average survivor, they would know these as spikers. Their arms and sometimes legs have decayed to the point where only the bones, the radius and the ulna remain in the forearms, which create these wicked double-headed spike-type weapons
Ew.
that allow them to spear people into the ground.
Ew.
And they appear to use this tactic often
Ew.
to get people into position to, chow down.
Ew.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we probably can't turn that one back.
You can, as long as they actually have most of their body intact, because it is basically just the arms that's missing. Unless there's a significant change to the creature's physiology that can be brought back. In theory, the only thing you wouldn't be able to do is if it was just a skeleton left over, basically, or if it was missing half of its fucking body.
Sure. It doesn't regrow anything. It sounds like, would this person's arms be messed up?
For a little bit, the cure would need to take its time to kind of recover anything that had been missing. But from what you have seen, the way that it works, it is almost more magic than it is science. It appears to straight up revitalize
Wow.
whoever was turned, as long as enough of the body is intact for it to appear like a normal human.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's no scientist, but this is a disease that brings dead things back to life. So if you use that disease, why not bring living things back to life too? Cool. All right. So in that case, I think Gavin is going to rub his chin for a second and say, okay, so we can still use the other stairwell, which goes down to at least the 86th floor. You said that the blood smears went into the elevator shaft?
Yeah, looks like whoever, at least from Hancock's point of view, whoever was walking through this office area, they were able to shimmy past all of the dead and get their way into the elevator shaft.
Okay, well, we should be able to work our way back to the stairwell that we saw before, because that went down to 86, right?
Yes, correct.
So we can just skip 97 altogether, keeping an eye out for whatever this creature is. And then Gavin is going to look up and say, before that, though, I would like to suggest a team building exercise. There are icebreakers that are very important in my line of work as an agent, something that brings us all together. And he's going to go over to one of the broken windows that is on the 98th floor, and he's going to piss out the side onto New York City below. So everybody join me.
Man, I've been holding it in since I got turned. And yeah, Hancock will unzip his pants and unleash his piss.
Jack's just gonna say, "Shit, I always wanted to do this," and go do the same thing.
Dr. Weber?
I have.
Come on, Dr. Weber.
I've completely lost the plot. What are we doing?
We're pissing out of the window onto the street below as a team building.
Pissing out of a window.
As a team.
Come on, you can't.
We're all
You
doing
can't
it.
stay out of the pissing party.
You look weird because you're the only one not doing it.
Really?
Yeah, he'll just be really awkward about it, and he'll also, he'll piss out the window with y'all.
Hell yeah, I slap you on the back.
So,
Always was a Red Sox fan. Zips it back up. All right.
in a weird fucking twist of fate, you guys all relieve yourselves at the side of the New York Empire State Building window, and you can't count the seconds that it takes for it to hit the ground because you lose track after the wind starts blowing.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, because Dr. Weber joined in at the end, some of that coasts back into your shins.
No.
That's all right. We're fine. We're going to be mucking through worst. Hey,
He drinks a lot of water, so it's not that bad.
can I make a leadership role to aid everyone again? Now that we've done a team building exercise?
I've never
I
considered the possibility of literally pissing into the wind. Like, I've
Yeah.
heard that as a phrase before. This is something else.
What are you attempting to aid? What's the leadership for?
Morale.
I'm essentially, trying to boost everybody's morale because what we just heard is very scary, and what we just saw is pretty scary, and the fact that Dr. Tyler might be against us is scary. So I'm essentially trying to see if I can like finagle in almost an inspiration as like a +1 forward. Next roll you make, you have specialization.
We'll do it this. We'll say it this way. Since the intention is to relieve stress, apparently in more ways than one, we are going to say there isn't a rule written for this, but making things up on the fly is half the fucking job.
Mhm.
The next
you didn't write
source
this
of
into your book that we'd all piss out the window?
This isn't getting written into the book. Pissing into the wind for an inspiration is not getting written into the book. We'll say that the next source of stress damage that you guys take will be halved if you
Hell yeah.
fail on a concentration
Hell yeah.
test.
All right.
Hell
So
yeah.
with that done, we're going to zip up. We're going to look at our work admiringly, and then we're going to head over to the other side of the building and go down to floor number 96.
Skipping over 97, heading to 96. You guys step out of the stairwell, and I need to roll something. Wow, that bad, huh? Yeah. As you sort of exit out into what appears to be a hallway that has several meeting rooms lining either side of it, most of the doors of which are open, as you can see just from the angle that you guys are standing. You can't see into the rooms themselves, but you know that most of the doors are either missing or open. It's sort of just this long hallway that goes down for a good 10 or so meters to the end.
Yeah, let's check it out. Taking it nice and slow.
All right, taking it nice and slow. Are there going to be stealth rolls from people, or are we moving cautiously but not necessarily quietly?
I think right now we're more concerned with keeping an eye out for the thing that pins people to the floor.
Okay.
If we can do stealth and keep an eye out at the same time, that'd be great.
Could they move cautiously and Hancock move behind them stealthily?
So, Hancock, you're trying to hide, and everyone else, you are looking out for, you're basically keeping watch?
So if a creature were to come across them, it would seem that there are 3 individuals.
Instead of the 4 that there actually are. I am following.
Yeah.
I can also stealth. I have a +4 to stealth.
I would assume that we could roll for stealth, but like still be keeping an eye out, right?
Yeah, that is possible. Just because you're wearing the bomb squad gear.
Yeah.
That gives you a pretty heavy penalty to stealth rolls.
Oh, I know.
rules.
I'm excited.
I have a rules question as well. Can I impart and also roll another skill? Like, can I impart my stealth knowledge onto my friend Mr. Taylor here and also roll stealth? Or are those, like, 2 things I can't do at the same time?
Usually imparting knowledge upon somebody just gives them your bonus.
Yeah.
If you are not assisting them with something.
Mm-hmm. So then he would be rolling with at least a +2, Mr. Taylor?
If that's what your stealth roll is, then yes, he would be rolling with a +2 instead of whatever his stealth roll is.
And can I still roll stealth then? Or is that like
if
me
you
standing
can,
behind him going like, good job?
If you can rationalize to me how you are talking him through being quiet,
I think
or
it's
at least
probably,
showing him.
It's probably on the way down. Like, we're walking by and I'm keeping an eye out on all the vents now for this thing that crawls along the walls. And I'm like trying to think and I can't because I keep hearing Mr. Taylor's thunk, thunk, thunk in front of me. So like as we're walking down, I'm taking some time being like, okay, we're going to want to try and move quietly. So like, here's what you need to do. Like, here's some like weight, displacement as we were walking down and then sort of sending him in.
If you want,
yeah.
Gavin, I can help with it because I have a +4 to stealth.
So I guess that's actually my question because impart is something that I have a +6 in. Do I need to roll to impart my knowledge onto him?
That's a good question. Let me read the skill that I wrote myself.
No worries, because I took a specialization in it because I wanted to have as many skills as possible and just hand them out to people who didn't have it. But if I don't need to roll in it, then I will probably move that specialization somewhere else.
It looks like normally you do need to make a test to do so. Let me take a look at my target numbers real quick and decide how difficult it would be to do that to somebody wearing bomb squad gear.
Who also sucks at stealth.
We are looking at successes and failures. I would say that is tricky on top of a loud suit of armor and somebody who is not exactly built for silence. Yeah, I would say you can go ahead and make me an impart test, and then let's take that. You said you normally have a +6. Let's do that with a +2 instead.
Okay, so +2 with specialization to impart.
Correct.
Is there a penalty for failure?
Nah, he just doesn't get any bonuses.
No worries. I was going to roll it either way. I just wanted to know because some systems, doesn't matter what you're doing. If you fuck up, you fuck up. Okay. Pretty good. With only the +2, that becomes a 12.
A 12? With only a +2? Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you said instead of a +6.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, so you're... Jack, you've got this CIA agent in training barking orders in your fucking ear, and you're like, man, you're not even a real CIA agent. Except maybe he is. You actually don't know.
This could be my cover.
Yeah. But regardless of whatever this dude's story is, you realize that he's actually making some pretty solid points. And while the armor that you're wearing, the bomb squad gear, does still thud around, and the sound of fabric against fabric makes this really annoying rustling that's going to happen no matter what you try to do, you do kind of make the footfalls a bit lighter. Go ahead and give yourself a specialty die on the stealth test that you are going to have to make with the others right now.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, I get -2 from the loud property, and then -2 from lack of specialization. Or,
my impart should give you a +2 because you use my roll instead.
Correct.
Okay.
So it'd just be a flat roll for you, I assume?
So flat roll with a specialty die.
Yeah, flat roll with a specialty die, because not only is he imparting the knowledge, I'm assuming you're also aiding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's specialty die and the +2 from the skill test, or the skill rating.
That's actually quite good. I got a 10.
Nice.
Yeah, a 10, which is effectively a flat 10 because there's no bonuses one way or the other with the -2 from the loud armor. So we got a 17, 2 10s, and then Dr. Weber, what's your stealth?
My stealth?
Yeah.
Okay, I was reading my shit on the document, so wonk. 14.
14? Yeah. So...
I do also like the idea of Hancock being a little bit behind, just in general.
Yeah, and I think that was the assumption that we were making, was that he was behind everybody else. So luckily for you guys, I rolled like absolute dog shit on my awareness test. There are definitely enemies on the floor, on this floor with you. But with the combined efforts of everyone trying to stay as silent as humanly possible, on top of the fact that the majority of the enemies that are here are walkers and don't exactly have the best senses in the world, sneaking past them is not too terribly difficult as long as you are not directly drawing attention to yourselves. And you are able to see into a handful of these meeting rooms. The trail does not get picked back up, but after a couple of turns, you are able to find the elevator shaft, which is where you know that the trail originally led.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
The elevator is also very noticeably missing, and when you look inside of the shaft, you can see that it has fallen all the way down.
Oh. I wonder if our friend is in there when the explosion went off.
You know, if we had like a climbing kit or something, we could probably just rappel down the elevator cable.
I do have climbing if I wanna. I don't know if I wanna, because that's a roll you can only fail once.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe that's a bit risky to try that.
I also have climbing, but scary.
I also have climbing. I have climbing.
I think we all have climbing.
Oh man, our doctor is very well rounded. Our doctor is like, yeah, I'm really good at surgery. Also, I can fire this AK like nobody's business, and I can do backflips.
I'm saying if we all scale the building at the same time, one of us might make it down.
Well, how he got his scholarship into college, by the way, was being a gymnast and like a track and field and stuff. So my boy was athletic to get brownie points.
You guys are 20 years deep into an apocalypse. If you haven't had to utilize your upper body at least once or twice to stop yourself from falling, you haven't really lived in the apocalypse.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
All right.
yeah. My guy actually didn't make it to high school because he was 12 when the apocalypse started.
Okay, that's useful information. I was thinking like this happened like 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, my
No,
my
going with
character's,
our
my character's 52, so
going
My
with
character's
our
32.
going with our assumed timeline of 2021. This shit happened on Y2K.
Oh my
not
god, that's so good.
Oh my god, some of
Turn of
these
the
zombies
millennium.
are dressed terribly.
Yeah.
Oh my
The
god.
older ones are definitely rocking some parachute pants with terrible perms that are less than.
Hey
Uh,
guys, fifth
fancy
edition never happened.
No!
hey guys,
A
third
better
edition
world.
never happened.
Whoa!
No!
Pathfinder does not exist in this world.
Oh, what a nightmare. All right. Anyway,
We
I'll
gotta,
take this.
we gotta fix this.
yeah, that's the first thing we do. Our goal is to get out of here, save the human race, and then skip editions 3 and 4 and just go right to 5th edition.
Yeah, we
That's how
make
we're gonna do
Dungeons
it.
and Dragons.
Third edition, you actually would be too late on that. Third edition happened in 2000. Happened, I think, in the year 2000. 3.5 doesn't exist though.
Okay, so if we walk by like a gaming store right now, there's a bunch of stuff like third edition art.
Yeah.
Sweet. Anyway, this has been a wonderful distraction. So we see the elevator shaft. I assume we don't see any like blood trails like this guy climbed down.
Let's think for a moment. Went down into the elevator shaft. Yeah, there would be a little bit of blood that is on the how would I say? It's on the 97th floor where the elevator would normally open up. There's a bit of blood that trails down from that part of the wall. But then either because they got into the elevator and it fucking crashed, or the rest of the blood cannot be seen because it fell to the bottom. That's where you can see that the person was when they went into the shaft at first.
Hey, scenario author, I have a question.
Sure.
So, like, obviously, there would need to be some sort of, like, service ladder in the elevator shaft.
Correct.
In case it ever broke down.
Yeah.
So, in an effort to not backtrack to where the enemy was, could we use the service ladder to go down from this location?
I would say you would. Yeah, you'd be able to, because the service ladders are like what, right off to the side of where the shaft or the elevator like itself would normally be.
Yeah, I mean any that I've seen are like in an essentially indented space, so that if the elevator does like fall down the shaft, it doesn't take your fucking head off.
Right. Yeah, it would have to be on the inside of the wall and then going all the way down, almost like a guide rail of sorts. Yeah, that would still be intact as well, because even though the explosion did shake like the top few floors of the building, from what you can tell, the
ladder.
yeah, the service ladder is still perfectly fine and usable.
Can I actually take a quick look? Because from what I remember, I heard a ticking sound. Then there was an explosion several floors down.
Yeah.
That caused a chain reaction of our antenna getting blown up. Maybe I'm reaching here. Do I see any signs of like explosion or like any soot or anything in the elevator shaft itself? Like someone blew the brakes on the elevator?
You wouldn't see any soot, but now that you are thinking about it and actively looking for it, you can see that where the cable would be that holds the elevator up, that shit snapped.
So is it possible that an explosion took out the elevator and then it crashing caused a chain reaction of other stuff that's just been decaying over the last 20 years?
That would not be a terrible assumption to make. Do you have explosives as a skill?
I super do not, but I do have Jack of all trades.
Then go ahead and make me a untested explosive or an unskilled explosives check test.
Okay. Only a 7?
Only a 7.
Assuming I can't add psyche or anything else to it.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't really be able to add anything to it. Just be a flat roll. With that, you're kind of trying to remember, because part of the training that you had to go through specifically, you know that there are a lot of homemade ingredients that can be used to make things like bombs and explosives that might end up just over the course of time as entropy takes hold of the natural world. Certain chemical agents that are normally stored inside of containers could end up leaking out as those containers break down. But it would have needed to have been you would have needed to have had fucking buckets of sulfur to make an explosion big enough to knock the antenna off the roof of the Empire State Building.
Okay. Got it. Either way, though, it seems like this cable that the elevator was in was tampered with rather than just snapped. I guess I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it would definitely have been tampered with. You can see that there is, the way that the cable looks, it is frayed. It was not a clean cut. So the explosion definitely ravaged it a little bit. But the force enough wouldn't be enough to break it. Somebody would have had to have, weakened it beforehand. You don't know what kind of sabotage would be employed to do such a thing. But it would have definitely had to have been a weak cable for an explosion to snap it like that.
Okay. Hey, Doc. How does this blood look? Looking up at the blood above us?
Dr. Weber, for future reference, what is your medicine rating so that I don't need to keep asking you to roll for
6.
shit you should already know?
6.
A +6?
Yeah.
So that means you would have a minimum roll of 8, and this is what looks to be fresh-ish blood. The blood, from what you can tell, appears to be about 3 hours old. It is enough to be dried up, but it hasn't taken on that telltale dark brown of,
It's not completely oxidized yet.
Yeah, exactly. Which also coincides with about when sundown would have been as well, because you remember Dr. Tyler telling you that that you guys only had a few hours left to work before the sun went down. So that actually coincides with when the explosion would have happened. So whoever made their way down here did so just before or right after the explosion. Hard to tell.
Okay.
And judging by how far away we are from the top, do I now think that it wasn't Dr. Tyler?
It couldn't have been, because he was still on the roof when the explosion happened. You saw him walk over near
Okay.
You saw him walk over near Jake.
That's good information.
That's great information. All right. But Dr. Tyler absolutely did not see a body up there for him. He is currently MIA.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's missing at the moment. You have no idea where Dr. Tyler could possibly be.
Got it. Wanted to make sure I didn't fuck up that bad. Okay. Yeah, so why don't we climb down? How far down does the service elevator seem to go? Or sorry, the service ladder in the elevator seem to go?
The service ladder in the elevator goes all the way down to the ground floor. This is a public access elevator that would normally take you up to the observation deck from the ground floor, or to any of the other exhibits and stuff like that that are available to the public. But this is a full service, or a full building elevator, I guess I would say. This isn't like a cargo ladder or anything like that.
Okay. And I imagine it's pretty sturdy. Is the bomb disposal unit going to be able to traverse easily down this elevator?
The bomb squad gear, you can close your hands around the rungs of the ladder pretty easily, Jack, if you're going to try to do that.
For sure.
Yeah, you can pretty easily wrap your hands around, because the bomb defusal gear does have free full motion of the hands, so that you can do the delicate movements needed to disarm a fucking bomb.
I guess, worst case scenario, I have climbing 4 and parkour 4, so...
Yeah, I also guess that this elevator is used by people who are strapped with equipment, so they can probably hold up pretty well.
Yeah.
For these ladders.
The ladders themselves are made of an updated steel, because they would have kept this shit up to date. They wouldn't have let a service elevator ladder, or a service ladder for an elevator shaft, go too long, without being maintained.
All right. Yeah, let's start climbing down. Let's go all the way to the bottom. See if we can get into this elevator.
All right.
At least figure out what's going on.
So I don't know if you guys have ever climbed down 90 plus floors of a building before. It takes a long fucking time and it hurts like hell to do after you're on a ladder for a good 3 minutes.
Can we periodically stop in some open floors if the doors are open? Just to like get some rest before continuing down?
Yeah. How far down do you want to go before stopping to recoup a little bit?
I mean, probably like a solid like minute, right? Of just climbing down, and then like we'll pull off and regroup.
I imagine
So would you
like
say,
every
like-
10 floors.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Every like 10 to 15 floors or so.
Because that's like 150 feet if like a floor of a building is on average like 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's like 150 feet of just pure climbing.
Yeah, it's probably 15. 15 floors is great.
All right.
This is
So
my worst fucking nightmare.
You or Jack?
Mine. I fucking hate ladders and I'm terrified of heights.
Yeah, we don't have any climbing gear, so I'm not even gonna ask that question. Yeah, let's do it.
C'est parfait. You guys continue to, over the course of the next about minute or two, go down the next 10 floors, bringing yourselves down to number 86, which you can see is another public access area that has an observation deck as well as an exhibit that goes over various bits of history about the building you're currently inside of. You're only able to see a little bit of this, however, through the glass doors that, because of time and also just destruction in general of property, have been shattered open. And off in the distance, you can see that there are also some shambling figures that kind of move around a little bit, keeping quiet and staying near the elevator as much as you possibly can. They continue to walk around aimlessly, looking between the exhibits, obviously not taking in any of the information.
I'm glad you felt the need to specify that.
The time passes and you guys recoup a little bit. I will say for every 15 floors you take, if you are not stopping to rest, you will take a d6 of stress damage.
Yeah, we'll stop, unless there seems to be a pertinent reason not to.
Yep, for sure. And you guys are able to, after a good 30 or so minutes between resting for a few after the 10 floors and actually taking the time to climb down, making sure that nobody meets their certain end with no hope of coming back as either living or dead.
That'd be a shitty way to go.
Yeah, right. You make it all the way this way. 20 years in, you've killed countless amounts of zombies and bandits and warlords, and
And then you fall 100
then
feet
you fall
down
100 feet down a fucking elevator shaft.
Yeah.
No,
You guys have had there have been entire series of books and movies and games that could have transpired over the course of your
Joey?
guys' lives.
I'm gonna need you to stop before you start giving Telltale more ideas for what they're
Right.
gonna do in next Walking Dead. That's 100% the type of shit they would do. Bastards.
You like fuck something
just
up and you
fucking
fall down
fall.
an elevator shaft.
You just fall down a fucking elevator shaft.
Yeah, that's the end. It's the end of the story. for this character that's
Unkillable
been in all
heroes
seasons.
everyone looks up to, and your fucking worst enemy is gravity.
Well, they look up to and then look down to as they go
Yeah,
sailing past
exactly.
the
As they
elevator.
fall through the fucking sky.
Great.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, we make it to the bottom. We're on top of
Absolutely.
the elevator.
Yep, and you can see that the elevator itself, the door on top, the emergency exit hatch, is currently closed at the moment.
How the
It's
fuck
very
did it
easy to open.
Alright, I'm
Yeah,
a regular.
everybody. Guns ready. Pointing in.
Holding up my crossbow.
Fucking. Special agent says guns ready, and Jack just like flexes his arms.
I give you a thumbs up.
Still,
But yeah,
still hiding back, sneaking before, trying to remain hidden.
perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
You're like one floor up with your gun just pointed straight down.
Who is opening the door?
Me,
I will do
bitch.
it.
Emergency
So
door.
you will do it.
Me, bitch. I'm first.
The big
Alright.
motherfucker.
Kill the zombie.
In riot.
So
gear,
you turn the handle and then lift up on the hatch, and as you look down inside, you can see what looks like a walker is currently both hands inside of the bowels of what appears to be a fresh corpse, whose face is still stricken with horror and pain. First thing I need you to do is make me a concentration test.
All of us, or just
Jack?
Concentration. I have no points in that. So it's going to be 3.
A 3? So you're going to be taking 8 points of stress damage, cut in half because of your CIA friend's intervention is going to be 4 points of stress damage. As this thing kind of like jump scares you for a sec, and then it's just a fucking zombie. Okay, who cares?
I'm assuming there's like it's not within like reach of my axe or anything.
No, in fact, that's actually part of the reason that you're able to. Not only is it your history with this sort of thing, but also the for some reason this what would normally be a horrific event is kind of dulled down by the fact that you saw a doctor inadvertently piss himself earlier. It's hard to take anything seriously at the moment.
Sure.
You're
Can
welcome.
I pull out my 9mm and just clack him in the head?
why don't we use the crossbow?
Oh, crossbow?
Nice and quiet. Yeah, unless you do that because you're jump scared, which is valid.
No. I think Jack opens the door, sees us, goes, "Oh shit!" Oh, goes to pull out the handgun.
Yeah.
Why don't we let Dr. Weber handle this one?
Yeah,
Good
so
point.
am I
And
just
holsters it.
my rolling for
Yeah, clack him in the head.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna say that because this creature has no way to attack you, it just kind of looks up and sees you guys, and then its arms kind of wave up, and they're trying to pull you down, but obviously they can't reach you. You're too high in the air. It is a little disconcerting that due to the lack of air flow, it's a silent event that is occurring.
He's just reaching up like uppies.
I'm
Yeah,
just
for real.
saying, I got a 14 with the crossbows thing.
Yeah, I mean that would be enough to bypass its defense rating, anyways. Yeah, it's just sort of like silently, no groans coming out of its mouth without any lungs or oxygen to fuel that normally sad and ominous at the same time growl. You just kind of point down with your crossbow. We're not even going to have you roll damage because I'll just consider it a crit for this purpose. You just thunk right through the forehead and it drops immediately.
Cool. Can I have my bolt back?
That's a good question. Are you going to deal with the body that has not had its brain taken out before going into the elevator shaft?
Wow.
Does it?
I'm
Because
gonna jump down in there.
this guy fell like 97 floors. Is there much body left to revive?
So, the zombie that Chas just killed, you can't bring back anyways. The brain's fucking gone because it has a bolt
Yeah.
through its head.
I'm sorry, I meant revive as in become a zombie and bite us.
Oh, right. The body that is dead inside of the shaft, or inside of the elevator itself, the shaft was closed before you guys found it. So it didn't fall from the elevator.
Oh.
This is just another corpse, because you also don't see any of the instruments or boxes or anything that Hancock said that this person had on them either. It's just an empty-handed person that got devoured
So,
partially
are you asking?
by the dearly departed.
Are you asking me if I want to go get my bolt back before I make sure that this one
Tap the other
can't
guy.
turn?
I'm getting the
Yeah.
fucking bolt.
Yeah. I'll
I'm
tap the
going
other
in
guy
there.
real quick.
Okay, so I need to keep looking back. So Jack, as you hop down into the elevator itself, climbing through the emergency exit, this creature does not have a defense rating for me to test you against. You just shoot it in the head with the crossbow. You grab one bolt out of the head of the zombie that was just dispatched, and then as the second one comes down, shunking in through the skull of the poor victim. You rip the bolt out of that one's head as well, and you see that the elevator door is open to the first floor, which leads out into what appears to be a some kind of restaurant. It looks like a breakfast place.
I'm gonna just real quick take the fire axe and decapitate both corpses.
Okay. Yep. Very easily done. Without any brain activity, they already couldn't really do much, but now without the heads, there is absolutely zero chance that either one of these guys is faking it.
Yeah. I mean, Jack's not an expert when it comes to zombies. For all he knows, there's some weird mutation that, like, headless zombies, like he saw in the old, 80s movies.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with being thorough.
Correct.
All right. So we all hop down.
Yeah. If there's nothing else that Jack wants to do on his own before you guys follow.
I think I'm gonna holster the fire axe and I'm just gonna hold up my arms to like catch these motherfuckers as they're jumping down into the elevator.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
It's easy enough to fall safely into it, but with the extra added assistance from Jack, you guys are able to get in there without slipping on any of the victims' innards.
Great. So we're down. We see some sort of breakfast area. Do we see a trail of blood leading from the elevator?
That will be a deduction check, Mr. Agent.
Sure. That would be a 12.
A 12. I would say that with a 12, it's kind of hard to tell whose blood belongs to who at the moment.
Sure.
So it does take you a little bit of extra time. I would say a few minutes at most as you're kind of like studying this. You're looking down, you're seeing like, okay, is this dried up because we got to it too late, or is this dried up because it belongs to the other person? And after you kind of suss this out, you realize that it continues, the blood trail actually continues out the door, and it's not the normal black, decayed sort of sludge that comes out of the bodies of the departed. This is actually from who you imagine that person Hancock was chasing down. But eventually the trickle does stop behind one of the service counters in the restaurant.
Yeah. Great. So let's set this up properly. Let's have, obviously, Mr. Hancock can hang back as he is a sharpshooter with a good stealth, so he can hang out in the elevator and shoot from there. Let's have myself and Jack move forward. And Dr. Weber, probably a good idea for you to hang back a little bit as well, because you have your, not only do you have your crossbow and good stealth, but you are also, as far as I can tell, pretty perceptive. So if you can keep an eye out for any walkers.
I am very perceptive. I also have a quirk, where if I'm trying to see things, most of its stuff is for combat, but if I'm trying to see things that are far away, I do not take an awareness penalty.
Oh, so you have a perk, not a quirk?
Perk, not a quirk.
Perk.
You just take Eagle-Eyed?
I took Keen-Eyed.
Oh, Keen-Eyed, same thing. I think Eagle-Eye was the working name for it, and I changed it to Keen-Eyed.
Okay, so why don't you keep an eye out for anything that is unclear. Jack, you and I will move around to opposite sides of this service desk and see if we can see what is behind it. Guns out, ready to blast. He does this with very complicated hand signals, gives up and just says it.
It's funny because Jack would understand the hand signals.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So he says it to Dr. Weber and to, Mr. Hancock.
Really quick,
Jack and
before we leave the area fully, because, the area we're about to go into is dangerous, right, scenario author?
Oh, fuck yeah. This area is dangerous as shit. You guys haven't been to the bottom floor of the Empire State Building in at least a month.
Yeah, so I want to give everyone one of those vitamins.
All right.
Because it's
Sweet.
like a +1 bonus to stuff, and then to specialties, I think you said it was, and then
It's a +1 bonus to all of the tests that you make for the rest of the in-game day, which this session isn't going to last longer than a day, so it doesn't matter. But the next source of healing that you receive is boosted by an extra d6.
Yeah, so I'm going to give everyone a vitamin.
Nice.
Taking another vitamin on top of this doesn't stack the effects, but it will give you another d6 if you lose the first one for because you got healed or whatever.
Yeah.
Got it. So
So I have
a
2 left.
+1 to our skill rolls going forward. Next healing is 1d6 extra.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
That seems really good.
My leadership specialty is organization. Would you say that applies here?
Organization for you mean guiding people around and
Exactly.
setting up the plan and shit?
Yeah, like delegating, basically.
Yeah, I would say
that
this-
applies here.
Yeah, I would say that this applies. The tests that you guys can make, whatever your next test is, you guys can make with a specialty die,
Sweet.
since you are being aided via his leadership.
Also, before we leave the elevator itself, the corpse of the victim, it just occurred to me, again, this has been going on for 20 years, so this isn't just some random fucking dude who
No.
just died. So did he have anything cool on him?
That is a good question. You, before actually moving forward with the plan, rifle through his pockets. He doesn't. This person doesn't appear to have any ammo or firearms on him. But you do see that he has strung across his back a rather impeccable looking multi-tool, in the book it is called a foobar. I forget what they actually call it in real life. Let me double check because I wrote it in the description. A functional utility bar. It's got a giant ass wrench on it. It's got a sledgehammer head. It's got a pry bar on the bottom.
I would take that for
He had one of those across its back, and unfortunately he never got to use it, so it is currently clean. And then he also apparently had a pair of night vision goggles as well that are across his forehead, which was missed by the crossbow since it went through the top of the dome.
Can I give the nods to Wartime Hancock?
Great.
Yeah, if he takes them.
Nods.
Night vision goggles.
Great. Much appreciated.
All right.
Because it occurs to me, our only source of light, as far as I know right now, is Jack's headlamp. So
Yes.
if we get ahead of him, he's not going to be able to fucking see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any identifying information on this person?
Yeah, I would say that not only do you recognize the fatigues this guy is wearing, because it appears that this guy was from the ranking that he had, he couldn't have been anything more than some kind of maintenance person, which explains the utility bar he had on his back. But after opening up the his basically his fucking wallet where he would have kept all of his papers and shit, you can see that after looking past some of the blood that's dried up on there, this guy's name was John Eriks, Eriks.
Okay, but not personally known to me. I can just recognize that he worked for us.
Yeah, he worked for you guys at some capacity. Chances are he was probably working on the elevator when it crashed. How he ended up getting eaten by a zombie is beyond you.
Sure.
You don't have any way of recreating the scene like Batman or nothing.
Yeah. In his mind, he was thinking, is this a co-conspirator? But it doesn't seem like it. Okay. So execute the plan.
All right. Who's doing what first?
Doctor, do you want to start us off with an awareness check?
Got you.
And add your specialty die because of the leadership from previous.
Could I take aim and just have the aim ready to go in case something pops out?
Yeah, so whatever your next shot is, not only are you getting the +3 from the specialty, but you are also getting... Sorry, I know I said something incorrectly. Let me
Okay.
start over.
+3 from the specialty.
You are getting a +3 from taking aim on top of the specialty die because you have the optical sight mounted to your rifle, right?
Okay.
Yes, optical sight, laser sight, and a feat.
Yeah,
Or a perk.
perfect. Excellent. So yeah, that's going to be a +3 for aiming on top of the specialty die for your next shot. And then what is your total, Doctor?
11.
An 11 on an awareness?
Yeah.
All right, let me roll something.
Because, like, how the specialty is, like, you just, like, take the highest, right?
Whatever your two highest dice are, that's what you're adding.
Okay, yeah, then I did it right.
I need to roll myself a test and see something real quick. You said you rolled a 12?
On 11.
You rolled an 11.
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to meet there, and then... Okay. So with an 11, utilizing the headlamp from Mr. Taylor, as well as just using whatever ambient light you have, reflected light from all of the broken glass, etc., on top of the fact that you've always just kind of had a keen eye for things, the area that you are kind of like looking into at the moment, you can see that there are quite a few bodies that are decayed and dead and like too far gone, is the terminology I'll use. You do see, however, it almost sneaks up on you, but you're able to kind of catch it before it does. Crawling across the ceiling is that spiked zombie that Hancock was telling you about before. And it is actually about to leap on top of Jack when you see it.
Bang!
Crossbow. Yeah.
Alright, so you're pointing it out. As you pointed out, Hancock, you are firing, and you are taking aim with your crossbow. Let's go ahead and roll those, and then we are probably going to be rolling initiative for a lot of creatures. So go ahead and make your accuracy tests, which is going to be your skill test, your normal 2d6, plus your accuracy modifier on top of your skill bonus.
Okay, so I got a 13.
Okay. And then Hancock?
It'll be
you rolled it in
14 to hit. Yeah, 14 to hit total.
14 hit. Okay, so perfect. So both of you guys are going to land your shots because it was not expecting you to see it. So go ahead and make the damage rolls, which for your 7
He's dead. I used my formerly hired gun perk.
Yeah.
So if the target you're trying to attack cannot see you, I turn this hit into a critical hit, and my attack is going to be lethal. He is dead.
All right. Yeah, for sure.
So Hancock takes aim, seemingly ready, and he whispers under his breath, "I might have missed Clinton, but I sure as hell ain't gonna miss you."
Oh, no! We're all going to jail!
He said he missed. He was fine.
Oh my god. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, so we're going to do a real quick rules explanation. Critical hits in this game can be used for one of two things. You can either double the damage that you do flat, or you can make a called shot to the victim of the critical. For most zombies and humans, this means that a headshot is going to typically be a one-shot kill. So rolling criticals is very dangerous. But what was the but to that? And in the event where you don't want to kill something, then rolling a critical can sometimes backfire on you. In this situation, he wants to drop this motherfucker. So he's doing a called shot to the dome. And this creature is going to, after a very loud popping sound, and tinnitus ringing through the ears of everyone inside of the elevator shaft and just outside of it. The head explodes, leaving scattered bone across the roof, and then the body would drop all the way if the spiked spears of the bone, the forearms, were not stuck into the ceiling, leaving it dangling like a macabre pinata.
Also, real quick, Joey, I have a question.
Yes.
So I have a Kevlar jacket, right?
Correct.
So if something is trying to smack me, what does it have to roll?
It needs to roll whatever your unarmored defense rating is, plus the defense rating bonus that you get from the armor.
Okay. So, for one, how do I know what my unarmored defense rating is?
That's going to be your precision and your psyche, the average of that, plus 4.
The average of that plus 4.
Yeah.
And then, for some reason, I don't think my Kevlar thing fully copied in. So, let me find Kevlar.
If it's a Kevlar jacket, then that is going to be a plus 4 on top of that. So it's going to be an 8 as a base if you want to do it this way, and then 8 plus your average of precision and psyche.
Precision and psyche. So I think... God, how long has it been since 3rd grade? Averages, you take the higher number and subtract the lower number?
No,
Add them together,
add
divide them by 2.
Add them together, cut in half, yeah.
Add them together and do that. Yeah, see, I'm stupid. Okay, so that's 5 plus 4? Plus another 4, right? Average plus 4, and then another plus 4.
So if the average of the two is 5, then it's a 4 base plus 4 from your armor plus 5. So that's going to be 13. So they need to. So if something wants to hit you, it needs to roll a 13 to hit.
Okay, and then Kevlar has, I think it said like a 45 durability. Does that mean how much damage the armor has to take before it hits me?
No, that is how much damage the armor can sustain before breaking. The damage threshold, that BF and that SF, whenever you take damage, you subtract from that, and then however much damage the armor absorbs goes to its durability, and you take the remainder.
Okay. I'll probably ask about that again if and when I actually get hit.
Yeah,
okay,
that's fine.
I'm assuming Wartime Hancock's loud-ass fucking gunshot has attracted some negative attention, so how do we roll initiative in this game?
That is going to be either a precision or a psyche roll, your choice of whichever is higher, and then that puts you on the initiative tracker.
Alright, 2d6 plus 4, let's fucking do it.
So,
Would this use the specialization die that the good special agent has given me?
if you have not used your,
I have not.
yeah, if you haven't used it yet, then yes, it would go to this.
And then we all get a +1 from our Flintstone gummies, right?
Correct.
Okay.
This is the most, like, how do I say? This is the most menacing text document I've ever made in my entire life.
The enemy.
Yeah. All right, so for Gavin, we got a 14. For Wartime, we have an 11. For Clement, we have a 14. And for Jack, we have an 11. Jack, what did you roll for... Actually, I should ask, what did everybody roll for initiative?
11?
No, like your skill.
Oh.
Or not skill, parameter. What parameter?
Precision.
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 Okay. And then I'm guessing Gavin and the good doctor rolled Psyche.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I need to roll... I went to the wrong bestiary. I got 3 of these fuckers. Okay.
Why do you got 3 of them bitches? Oh, because you made 3 different, like, types of zombies.
Yeah, three variants, yeah.
And we're going with the normal one, in quotations.
Yeah.
By the way. Mr. Spears for arms? Yeah, that's normal.
Normal for you guys.
Fuck.
Fuck!
The only business left standing 20 years after the apocalypse is Arby's.
Here comes the big meaty. Fuck!
Oh god. What's these guys? Oh my god, these guys have a lot of precision. Okay. And then we get one more.
My butt cheeks are all clenched and everything.
Okay, so the first creature. Wait, is that what that is? No, this is a different one. Come on, Joey, think smarter, not harder. Just copy the shit. Paste it, put the space, paste it, put the space. All right, sick.
Yeah, Joey.
At the top of at the top of initiative is going to be an enemy that you cannot see at the moment. And it is going to attempt to, let's say it's going to try to hit, that's the wrong enemy. We want this one. Oh, I am so sorry.
Just saying, I'm up front and I have a fucking light on my head.
Oh yeah, no, you're getting shot at. I just need to find out.
Shot at?
You'll find out what that means in a second. Where the fuck? Chapter 3, Ranged Weapons. Okay, what's your damage resist, or what's your damage defense rating?
13.
13. So if it's okay, so that's an 11. It's gonna miss. That's even lower. I think. Nope, you are very difficult to hit, good sir, or good madam, good sir in the case of the character. But you know what I mean. So as you are standing at the front, the gun goes off. The spiker's head is detached from its body, and its arms stick into the ceiling, causing its legs to dangle down to the ground as the dead weight tries to pull it out of the roof, but it just simply cannot. Taking a moment after the loud gunshot goes off, you get a good look at your surroundings, because you know that there is going to be something trying to come and eat you after the dinner bell has been rung. With your axe in your hand, you scan the battlefield, and in doing so, see from the darkness 3 spines made out of complete bone shoot towards you. You are just able to lift your arm up in front of you in time for the glass plate, or not glass, but you know what I mean, like the plexiglass plating of the bomb squad gear to sort of have these 3 spines stick into it. If you had been any less prepared, those things would have gone straight into your chest and done who knows what. Let's do Clement, you're first, because you're first on my list.
Okay, so are there any McFuckers I can see?
Yes, currently rising up from behind various tables and behind the counter, you see what appear to be 4 walkers that stand up and are currently disoriented at the moment. It looks like the majority of them were down here for so long that they just kind of never had anything to do. They ended up going dormant. And they are trying to find out the source of whatever the source of the noise was.
Alright, so is there any of these that look special, like fucked up in any way, where they look hardier than the others?
Do you make me a... Do you have deduction?
I do have deduction.
Then go ahead and roll that for me. This will be considered one of your actions for the turn.
Alright, okay. That's 12.
A 12?
14 actually. No, 13 actually. Sorry. I know
13
math.
because of the vitamin bonus.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
So your vitamin bonus turns the fail into a success as you're kind of looking through the room. You notice that there are just the 4 walkers that you saw stand up, but seeing the spines inside of the plexiglass armor on the bomb squad gear, as well as kind of like just using the light to your advantage with what you can see from the headlamp and the moonlight, the creature that attacked Jack is currently with what looks almost like a scorpion-like tail formed out of a human spine, standing on the wall, or rather crawling on the wall like a lizard.
Ew.
There is something that can't even be called a zombie or a human anymore. It is just a monster. Has posted up and is starting to take pot shots. You recognize this as a skewer.
So, with this check, can I use my analyst skill? My perk?
Your analyst perk? Let me take a look at the analyst perk
On
real
your
quick.
turn, you can use a concentration or deduction skill action with a TN of 7 plus the target's psyche rating to point out a weak point or opening in an enemy. On a success, you and your allies get a +1 modifier on all tests involving actions that target that enemy until it is removed from combat.
In that case, yes. So the doc points this out. You guys' ears are still ringing, but as the doc's words make purchase in your consciousness, Jack and the others, once the headlamp is turned towards it, you can see its eyes dead reflect the light like an animal, and it lets out this ah! And I need everybody to make me a concentration test.
Okay.
Can I get a -2 to this because I'm not proficient?
If you do not have concentration, yes, it's going to be at a -2, which gets bumped up to a -1 because of the vitamins.
Gotcha.
Okay, I got a 10.
10, that's fine. 7,
12.
11, and 6. Gavin
12
and...
with vitamins.
All right, 12 with the vitamins. So Gavin and Jack, as this thing lifts up its head and lets out that weird guttural growling sound, something that you haven't seen before out in the field, it shocks you. And both of you are going to take 4 points. I rolled really low. 4 points of stress damage. Gavin, you only take 2 because of we'll call it the yellow misfortune of Doc pissing on his poor shins.
Yeah. In this terrifying moment, I look up and I remember, at least I got to piss on the Yankees.
And it's just so hard to take anything seriously when you pissed out a window. However, while it is horrifying to look at, the doc also points out that the scorpion tail that shoots out of the back of this creature's body is actually a recomposed human spine. If that tail is destroyed, its nervous system drops, and that gives everybody a +1 to accuracy damage just any test that is made against it for the duration of the combat or until it is dead.
And then in my same turn, can I still attack it? If I've done that?
Yeah, you only used your one action to analyze it. You can use your second action to make it to take a shot.
Okay, so shooting with my crossbow.
Yep.
Double checking my crossbow. So that is a 17.
Oh yeah, that definitely hits for sure.
Okay, and my crossbow does 5d6 damage.
Yep, no modifiers because it is just a ranged weapon. It doesn't use any of your strength or nothing.
Okay, holy shit. All of these rolls are good except for one. Okay. Oh my god. All these rolls are really good. And then I get a +1 from my analyzing on damage too, right?
Yeah, the +1 for the analysis counts for all tests made against it. Damage tests are a test.
And then does my vitamin also give me a +1, or is that only for checks?
That I believe is only for the attribute or the parameter and the skill actions.
Okay.
A damage test isn't either of those.
Okay, so with that said, my total amount of damage is 25.
25? Yeah. So you fire a shot into it. What's up?
Vitamins say they add a +1 to all tests.
Oh, then yeah.
So it's all tests. Okay.
I should specify all Well, I should say all tests except for range damage tests. We'll fix that later. It's fine.
No, keep it.
No.
Yeah, vitamins make my crossbow bolts sharper. Totally.
You aim better.
Aiming better is part of the accuracy, you dolt.
No, I don't think so.
Whatever. You fire a bolt into it, and you're not able to hit the spine on its back, but you are able to sink the bolt into one of its legs, and you can see that the leg where you hit it appears to have struck it in its patella, the kneecap, as it cracks and then falls limp. It is now crawling with only 3 legs. You have definitely done some actual damage to this creature.
And I think that's it for me. I don't think I can do anything else.
You can take more actions if you would like, but they're going to start incurring penalties, and you'll take stress damage at the end of your turn.
No, I'm good.
All right, Gavin, go ahead.
All right. Is there anything right next to me?
Anything right next to you? No, there is not. You're still inside of the elevator, right?
I had stepped out because we were moving forward, which I think is when I was moving forward, and Jack was going to flank one side. I was going to take the other side of the desk that the trail of blood had
Gotcha.
behind.
Okay. And Simonifi. The walkers that had stood up, there are 2 directly in front of you, about 10 meters away, and then the other 2 are on the other side of those initial walkers. They are about 25 meters away. The creature that is shooting at you with its ass spines is 40 meters straight ahead of you.
Okay, so I'm trying to find the specific skills that are part of the combat. What I want to do, and then you can help me get there, is essentially I want to make a full sprint towards that desk, and I want to do a cool slide over the top of it and see what is behind where the blood trail ended, because my hope is that the person died behind there and that the box of stuff we need is there.
Okay, for sure. And with your can I get your what the hell are they called? Can I get your physique and your precision skills or ratings?
Yes. So my physique is 4, my precision is 2. I do have marathon runner, which increases my movement speed.
Okay, so with your physique being 4, it's going to get bumped up by 2, which brings it up to a 6. So that lets you move 7 meters. And then your precision was, you said 4?
My precision was 2.
Precision's 2, so that gives you another 3 meters of movement. So you can move 13 meters. No, 10. You can move 10 meters. 7 plus 3 is 10, Joey. Yes. Is that it?
Yeah.
Also yes. You can move 10 meters, so you can get directly to the zombies that are in front of you, but you'll only get about halfway to the service desk, which would have been on the left side where Jack is.
And I would not be able to... I'm looking at skill actions here. I don't see that there's anything about running real fast.
That's because movement isn't tied to an action. You just move based off of whatever your total movement speed is.
Okay, so no sprinting? So no head?
Yeah, so no head. Sprinting is so your movement speed is calculated with your precision and your physique. Depending on how high either of those scores are, you just have a flat movement speed for both sprinting and running because they are different.
Well, I will say precision does have a sprinting speed table.
Yeah.
Got it. So I'm only going 10 meters, and then I still have 2 actions after.
Yeah, because you have Marathon Runner, you can do your full movement and then act immediately afterwards.
If I got 10 meters up, do I need to aim to put a pistol to a zombie's head and pull the trigger?
I would say because these ones are just normal walkers, they don't have very good awareness, and they're still trying to find out what made the sound that started this whole conflict to begin with. You can make a roll. We'll just count it as a critical hit if you hit it. So just roll an accuracy test with your handgun skill.
Sure. Yeah, I'll sprint up to both of them, and then I get 2 actions per turn, right?
Correct.
Without doing anything extra?
Yeah, so you could just plug them both if you wanted to. It's going to be 2 accuracy tests against each of the walkers, or 1 against each of the walkers.
Okay, so that is a +4 from my handgun skill, +1 from vitamins. That is a pretty good roll. That's a 14 on the first one.
Yeah, walkers don't got shit for defense rating. That first one goes down easily.
Okay, second one. That is that is 2 6s +4 for 16.
That would have been a critical on its own. You wouldn't even need it. Yeah. So you plug the 2 walkers on the left. They immediately drop, and that leaves the service desk open for Jack, who comes after this next enemy, to move in behind and then see where the trail continues, because you guys might be fighting to whoever this person is at this point now that the dinner bell has been rung.
Okay, and then there is an option to take additional actions, right?
Yes, if you would like to, you can make an additional action. Every action you take after the second has a penalty of -1, and that's cumulative. So it's -1 for the first, -2 for the second, -4 for the third, because it keeps doubling essentially.
Okay, so right now I'm a little bit further ahead, and this thing that is shooting spines at us, its tail is, its actual spine. So if you kill the tail, you kill the thing.
Right.
I guess this is more of a distract. I would like to take a couple shots at it, so that way it looks at me and faces its ass towards the elevator, so that way Jack will have an easier shot at its tail.
So you want it to, because of its position on the wall right now, you want it to like turn sideways so that it's looking at you instead of at everybody else, which makes the tail horizontal instead of vertical, easier target.
Yeah, makes it easier to shoot that tail and take it out in one hit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
There is a distract skill, and there's also a distract action.
The distract action uses the distract skill.
Okay.
Unless you have a noisemaker, in which case you just use the noisemaker instead. Because you are trying to distract an enemy that does not have a mind, it does not think for itself, it's just going to look at whatever the loudest thing is. So unless somebody else tries to distract it at the same time, you are its target currently.
Great. Gun is out, making a bunch of noise.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is the end of my turn now.
That is also going to draw the attention of this next enemy that is going to sneak up behind you.
Oh, what's the worst that could happen? I'm sitting with a DR of 11. It's fine.
Your DR is 11?
Yeah.
I am sorry.
That's okay.
You are going to take... what's its power? You are going to take 18 points of damage against your armor's sharpness factor, which is your SF. What is your armor's SF?
Great question. I am so sorry. How do I calculate that?
It should just be a flat number.
Is it under Kevlar?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Sorry. 1 second. Believe it or not, just looking up SF in this 136-page document was difficult. Sorry, that is a 6 for SF.
So you are going to take 12 points of damage as one of those spikers from before, the guys with the arms for spears, drops down from this outcropping above you. You had no way of seeing it from your other position because of the way that the ceiling droops low to sort of make this window that separates the service desk from the rest of the area. It drops down from there and runs over to you and gets a good stab on you.
So he says, "Hey, I'm right over here," and then something runs up and stabs him in the back.
Yes. I need you to make me a resilience test.
Yeah, totally. Just roll, add my resilience.
Correct.
Okay.
And right now you are trying to roll higher than a 6.
Oh, I cannot fail. My resilience is a +4.
Resilience is a +4? With the vitamins, yes, that is correct. Yeah, you actually cannot fail this.
Almost a crit, but not quite. There's 11 + 5.
I just need to double check, make sure I'm not wrong about that. Target number equal to half the damage they take. Yeah, so you're fine. Is this
Which means I avoid an injury?
No, it means that you avoid being infected. Is this the first time that you have ever been attacked and hurt by one of the dead?
No, definitely not. I mean, you don't make it 20 years into an apocalypse without coming across at least some. Sheltered as he was, still saw some.
So there is a familiar feeling that you assume has taken the lives and minds of several people before you as the blood drips from the bone of this creature. You turn around and look at it and you can see that it is ready to unleash a second swing. And as you see your blood dripping from its spike, there is always that moment of panic that sets in that it might have just sealed your fate with a single wound. But as this overtakes you, you can also feel that this creeping doom, this encroaching death that you have felt once before, secedes from your body. You shrug it off, you get ready for its next attack, but it is the end of its turn. It will do so again on its next turn. As wartime, it is your go.
Okay, yeah, wartime sees this, and he's going to yell out, "Oh, hell no!" And he's going to take a shot with the vitamins, not taking aim. First action, that is a 16 to hit with the long rifle.
16 to hit.
Trying to hit the spiker.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, when you do not take aim, you don't get the bonuses from your optical sight or your laser sight. So you are just adding your accuracy plus the vitamins.
I still get a +1 from one of them, don't I? I get a +1 from the laser sight. It's a +1 or a +2 if I'm aiming.
The laser sight might give you a +1 into a +2 if you aim. Let me double check. I only wrote this one a month ago, so give me a second.
I mean, that sounds about right. Given
+1 accuracy bonus at all times while the sight is turned on, and a +2 if the user is taking aim. So I take that back. You do get a +1 from both the vitamins and the laser sight, which you said rounds out to a 16 with your bonuses.
Yes, +8 overall.
Yep, and the damage on your rifle, I think, is going to be enough to kill this thing regardless. So you, without taking aim, you just kind of like see the tail turn, and you think that like right there at that moment, that is your chance. You bolt back the rifle, securing another shot into the action, and into the barrel, and as you pull the trigger, leveling the laser onto the tail on the back of the skewer, it shatters the tail in half, and all of the reflex, all of the drive within the spinal column that gave this thing its mobility, its locomotion, fails in an instant, and it slams into the floor with a very final thud.
Wait, was Groove aiming? I thought he said he was aiming for the spiker.
That's fine. I have more bullets.
I thought you
Yeah,
were aiming
so-
at the tail guy. That's my bad. I thought you
Oh,
said
yeah.
specifically you were trying to kill the guy with the tail.
Well, would have happened anyway. But he's going to now turn the gun to the one attacking Gavin, the spear hand man. And I rolled a 17 to hit.
Jesus. Yep, that hits.
Okay, and that's going to be 32 damage piercing.
32 damage does not quite take it out. However, you do actually lop off one of the arms as it is raising its other spear to take a decisive swing into Gavin. You once again level the laser onto the target, and as you loose another round, it fires, shattering both of the arm spines as fragments of bone clatter against the walls and land onto the floor.
Okay, and with my competitive shooter perk, I can take a third attack without overextending myself, which he will do. Aiming once again for Spearhand Man. That's
All
going
right,
to be
go
a
for it.
20 to hit for 29 damage.
Oh yeah. Shit is absolutely lethal. The second shot, as you kind of like level out the rifle, the recoil, only messing with you ever so slightly, move the laser over to the forehead, this time making sure that this next shot puts it down for good, and you are successful in doing so.
Okay. Now, how many regular walkers are left?
There are 2 regular walkers left, and they are on the right side of the room. However, with the added noise from the repeated gunshots, you can see that from the entrance, about 100 meters away, an entire city full of the dead is trying to break its way into the entrance of your safe haven.
This shit ain't nothing to me, man. And he's going to now overextend himself. And he's going to take one more shot at one of the walkers there.
All right.
That's
This next
an
one's done.
18 to hit for -1 at a -1 penalty.
Yep.
And it's going to be 24 damage.
24 is not going to be enough to put that that first one down, but it does take a sizable chunk out of its shoulder, and we'll even give it a little bit of flavor, say that ricochets into the cheek.
Great, and that is all of my actions +1. And that will be... I can move. Can I move back at all into the shaft, or am I as far back as I can go?
I kind of assume that you were already as far back as you could go, so we can just say that you like press yourself up against the back wall.
Perfect. Hey, could I climb up and then like hang down upside down?
Yeah, I would say that you have the movement to do that if you want to make me a climbing test at a -2.
No, pass. I'll just sit here.
Okay.
Back up
Then
against the wall.
Case, yeah, in that case, with the extra shots that you made on top of the absolute fucking nerve-wracking responsibility of making sure that one of these people that just saved your life doesn't immediately get domed, you're only going to take 1 point of stress damage for the overexertion. Or no, sorry, 2 points of stress damage because it's double whatever the penalty was.
So I only... Okay, yep. Got it. Double the stress damage.
Yeah, and then if you didn't take stress damage from the skewer, did you?
No.
Then that would mean that the 2 stress damage from the multiple action penalty gets reduced to a 1 because of the previous leadership.
Got it.
All right. Up next is Jack. What's your precision, Jack?
My precision is 4.
4? Yeah, okay, so you're going first. There are 2 more walkers on the opposite side of where you're at. They're pretty far away from you. You wouldn't be able to reach them with this one turn, but you could get about halfway to them if you wanted to post up and then just kind of take your place in the center of the room.
Yeah, I will move to take my place in the center of the room. I'm going to pull up my 5.56 bolt action.
Okay.
And I'm gonna clack the one that our local homeless assassin just shot.
All right, go ahead and roll it.
Okay, so that's 2d6 plus 1 because I have a specialty in high caliber rifles.
So it's gonna be 3d6 plus your normal stuff.
Well, is it 3d6 or is it I roll 3d6 and take the two highest?
Yeah, roll 3d6, take the two highest. 2d6 with a specialty, we'll say. 2d6 plus specialty on top of the regular bonuses.
Okay, so that is that's 13, 14.
14. Yeah, it's gonna hit. Walkers are very
is that 5 higher than
easy.
his DR.
That is 5 higher than his DR. Yes.
So that's a critical.
These things are very, very easy to kill.
Do I just double the damage, or
It's dead. Your minimum's gonna kill it. Walkers are very non-threatening when they're being singled out like this. You're probably gonna be able to kill them.
all right? Yeah, because my 5.56 is 7d6 damage.
Yeah, so that's effectively 14d6, and it couldn't even survive the minimum. So, with the other damage that it took from the other shot, I should say.
And can I then turn and clack the other one?
Yeah, you only fired once, so you can fire again.
Awesome. That is going to be 15 to hit.
15. That's definitely going to hit, and then let me find out. Criticals outside of combat. There we go. Critical hits and called shots.
Because I read it and it said if you get 5 higher than the DR or roll double 6s.
Is that in the initial critical hits and called shot section, or is that somewhere else?
No, that's in the attack section.
Gotcha. Okay. You beat the enemy's DR by 5 or roll 2 6s on your pair of d6. The attack is considered critical hit. Right. Shit, yeah. Awesome. Then yeah, so that's going to be another crit, and that's going to take down the walker. Again, walkers don't have a high DR, so I'm not like, oh no, that's bullshit. I wanted this very slow moving guy to take 2 turns to walk up and grab you and bite you while you guys were very clearly well armed. I'm not trying to do that kind of thing. I'm just making sure for future reference that I know where that is.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I wrote all of this shit. I just wrote it. That is going to take care of the initial danger. We are out of initiative for the time being, but once those doors break open and the hundreds of dead outside claw their way in, we will start to have other problems.
You said this area like served like food and stuff, right?
Yeah, essentially what you are looking at right now is a singular restaurant. This exits and goes out into the main lobby, which is where about 100 meters away you see all of those dead approaching from the outside of the building trying to claw their way in.
Are there any like cooking supplies like still in this area?
You'd have to go behind the service desk and into the kitchen for that. Which is actually right where Gavin is, or at least is going to be. Gavin was actually he was only a few meters away from you when he got stabbed by that spiker.
Yeah, my intent is I want to see if I can find like a glass bottle of like cooking oil to make a Molotov with.
Also,
absolutely. What's up?
Is there you know how like when big restaurants or like especially ones that take place in like office buildings like this, the casino I worked at had this. You know those like warming racks where it's like basically a table on wheels that have the containers for them to put hot water to keep like buffet food in?
Yeah, they have they actually have those in. Yeah, you would have to go back. You would have to go into the back to find one of those if it's not just out on the floor.
I was gonna say, can we push them in front of like the doors? Like, give them obstacles?
I feel like it probably wouldn't do a whole lot, right? Because like there are hundreds of motherfuckers outside the door.
Yeah, and this door isn't just like a set of double doors. There is also the glass walls that lead outside. And they are currently pressed up against those as well.
Before we start,
so we need to. I think. What if we just go up
What if we
the
just leave?
shaft? I feel like it's kind of futile to
Yeah.
try and take this on.
Before we
So
start doing,
Hancock will. Oh, please.
I was just gonna say before we start like barricading or deciding if we're gonna flee, I'm gonna check behind the concierge desk.
Yeah, so looking behind the service desk, you can see that the trail of blood absolutely does continue, but it looks like it's starting to putter out. Like whoever this person is was able to kind of like close the wound up ever so slightly as they were running away.
Mm-hmm. And does it continue in any one direction?
It continues back into the kitchen area that Jack is about to try to make an interfacing test to craft a Molotov.
I think we got to go that way. I think we got to go that way and take our chances that we'll be able to get out.
One of the reasons why I'm making the Molotov.
Because once they get through, we're not getting
Molotov,
back down here.
Huh? You trying to make a Molotov?
Trying to get some deployable fire to cover our asses.
Well, shit. Why don't you say so? And Hancock is gonna go try and make Molotov with him. What's your interfacing?
Fucking dog shit. I didn't realize.
Oh, I have a +6. So yeah.
All right, yeah. You go ahead. I honestly didn't think I was gonna have to roll to put a rag in a fucking bottle of shit, but
There's an art to it. There's an art I've learned over a long time.
yeah.
You should have seen me in the 80s. Yeah.
Both Jack and myself underestimating the difficulty of making a Molotov.
To be fair, the difficulty of making a Molotov isn't really isn't that crazy. It's just if you're not good at with your hands, you might fuck up. That's all.
That wasn't a dig against you, Joey.
Oh.
I completely forgot about the fact that we're playing a game in which we need to roll dice to do things. So I'm gonna go make a Molotov.
Well, I mean, look, I don't want to get too into it because we're gonna roll. We're already low on time as it is. But like, we've all seen it in movies where someone's doing something that seems really routine and then they fuck up fucking tremendously and end up ruining everything for everybody.
True.
Go ahead and make me an interfacing test while Minnow, you were trying to say something previously.
Yeah, I was just going to call
15.
the doctor over to me.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. Clement, walks over. Yes?
Pulls the remaining syringe he has in his pocket out, hands it to you. Says, just in case only one of us makes it, hang on to this one for me, okay?
Understood.
All right, now we got to get going. And I think... Is there anything I can do to try and distract them from here?
Oh, is there like
I'll
a
think
radio?
about that way.
Is there like a battery-operated radio in here?
Or a jukebox?
There's a battery operated radio in this kitchen. You can see that it's actually been knocked to the floor, but it looks like it used to be propped up on a wall on one of the counters in the kitchen.
Okay. Two things.
You're not sure if the battery in it still works, but you could probably use a battery from some electronic that you have on yourself.
Yeah, two things, right? So one, does this kitchen have a first aid kit? Because if it does, I'm taking it.
It should, but it does not.
Bitches.
Long since gone.
Yeah, that is true.
And if shit didn't work.
It has already been scavenged.
Yeah, and then, I'm going to, like, turn the, like, audio down, because I just want to see if it works, but I don't want it to make noise yet. I just want to know if it, like, works and clicks on.
All right, yeah. So you try to flick the radio on, and as you kind of click the on button, you can hear this kind of like, how do I say it? It's like a very low clicking sound, just like a tick 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 tick. Like it's the speaker or the motor inside or something. It's trying to work, but it's like stuttering.
Okay, so is that
Radios
an
don't
issue?
have a motor. It's the speaker is trying to make sound, but it's just nothing is coming out.
Okay, so if I turn the sound up, like, would it make any sound? Like, even if it's a really annoying, like, staticky, squeaking sound? Like, would it make sound at all? Or is the speaker shot completely?
As you try to turn it up, you're not sure if it's because of the bad speaker or because of the low battery life, but the ticking noise stops, and it's not even attempting to turn on anymore.
Darn.
I'm going to say, so right now, we look over, and our friend is making Molotovs. With a 15, I assume goes pretty well.
Oh yeah, 15. Yeah, you actually make a good half dozen as the rest of the group is checking out what is inside of the kitchen, trying to scramble to make sure that you guys don't fall victim to what used to be New York's general populace.
Okay. I'm gonna look over and I'm gonna say, wartime, hand me your goggles.
Yeah. On it, boss. Hands Gavin the goggles.
I take them out. Are the batteries the same?
The batteries look like they are the same, yes. The night vision goggles take double A's, same as the radio.
Okay. Gonna take one of those wheeled carts. Going to set the radio on top of it. I'm going to put the batteries in. Turn it up real quietly. Do I hear any sound coming from it now?
Yes, now that you have put fresh batteries on the inside of it, you can hear this sort of low static just kind of comes out. I'm going
to reach down. I'm going to say, everybody get ready to run. Follow the trail of blood that's on the ground. I'm going to hit play for whatever cassette tape is in there, crank it up as high as it is, and shove it out into the lobby. And I would like to request that it is playing Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue.
It would play that if you didn't hear dun dun ticka ticka dun dun ticka ticka dun dun as you wheel the cart out and rickroll the entire undead populace of New York City.
I turn the gun on everyone in this room and then myself.
Listen, that may be true, but I'm still putting Kickstart My Heart on my Spotify.
I'm just saying, it's a perfect song about stabbing someone in the heart with an adrenaline shot so they come back to life. It just seemed apt.
Yep, makes sense. All right.
Just slowly starts taking the adrenaline shot I have out of my pocket. Adrenaline shot? Did someone need that?
We're good.
No.
We're good. All right,
Hey,
go.
how many batteries does that take? Can I keep a functional battery in the night vision goggles?
The radio takes 2 batteries because it's just one of those shitty handheld like Walkman style radios. Your night vision goggles take 4, so you still have 2 in there.
Got it. And then I'll put some empty ones in there to keep them all filled up. Yeah, cool.
Yep, for sure.
Great.
All right, yeah. So how many
trail?
Molotovs do we have?
How many Molotovs? You have half a dozen of them. You have 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Molotovs, I did not write down like damage for them because they just engulf things and flame whatever they hit. So if you do end up lighting something on fire, it's just going to follow the rules for being burned.
Okay.
I'll take 3, and then Jack, do you want 3? Does anybody else want Molotovs? I have
No, the 2 of you
explosives
should have it.
bonus, and
Yeah.
Jack is a good thrower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a 3 in throwing, but that's it. So.
Okay, cool.
I have a gaping chest wound.
Oh, do you need to be healed?
Not right now.
Need some first aid? Okay.
Yeah, we gotta run. We gotta go.
So we got Molotovs. We saw that the blood trail had gone in here, but got a little bit lesser, like he had healed himself up. Do we see where it goes?
Yeah, so from what you can tell, the blood trail actually leads into like past this kitchen area into what appears to be some sort of like extra hallway. You guess that this must be where employees come in. Like if they're starting their day, they would go here to an employee elevator of some sort. However, you don't even need to get very far into the hallway before you see what looks like a collapsed body on the floor with the clear tackle box that Wartime had mentioned to you. It is on the floor. It's not opened. Nothing is spilled out of it. You can tell that through the clear box, there is still something inside of it.
Jack, pick it up.
But there is a body that is on the ground next to it.
Do we see what caused his death?
Looks like he bled out.
Great. That's the best answer. I'm going to rifle through his pockets so fast.
You rifle through his pockets super fast and find that he had an extra set of bandages that he wasn't able to use on himself before succumbing to his wounds, as well as what appears to be a exclusive, like very high-level employee access card. But there's something weird about that. None of the power in this building is on, so you're not sure what use that would have had, but he made a point to keep it on him.
Interesting. Gonna snatch that up. So also, I'm guessing that he didn't close up his wounds. He just ran out of blood to bleed.
Yep, that is what it is
Is
looking
why.
like now that you've seen the dead body on the ground.
Okay, so we've got that. I assume at this point they're breaking through glass out there. With
you
our
haven't- You
Hmm?
haven't heard the shattering yet because there's just so much banging. You don't even know if you could hear it, a shattering of glass over
Sure.
all of that.
and the music very loud.
But and you also got the music. You got Rick Astley shouting in your fucking ear. But there is you're still on a clock.
Yeah. Great. Do we know the layout of this building at all that we could try and find either an elevator shaft or another stairwell just to get up at least a few floors?
Yes.
I'm gonna cut
You
off
are
this head as we're going.
You are currently
Nice.
under a vast amount of pressure. I would like you to roll me a concentration test to see if you can remember where it is.
Sure. Yeah. Anybody? Hey, Doc, what's your concentration?
Let me look. 3.
Probably higher. That's one higher than mine. I will assist you.
Okay.
So, Doc, go ahead and make us a concentration test with a specialty die. And I'm going to say that because you... that's what the concentration test is for. Never mind. Just go ahead and roll it.
14.
14
Nice.
is very good. That is going to make your head... You're kind of like making sure everything is in here. You're looking through the box, the jacket, and you're like... We got the microscope. We got this. We got a vial of. We have a test subject's vial. We have glass slides. And when he asks, "Where's the way out?" your head snaps to you just make a hard left, look directly down the hallway, and where you can see that there is a pair of emergency exit doors. The sign has been well worn away, but with your keen eyes, you can very clearly see the escape, the panic bar that will automatically unlock and open the door as soon as you push on it.
Yeah, I'm just he snaps his head up and like the adrenaline that fills him knowing that he's going to be able to, that he has the supplies and he'll be able to keep working on the cure to make all this bullshit be over. He's like, that way.
Oh yeah. You guys are going to run?
Yep.
All right. Let's go ahead and make one quick... What is the name of the skill?
Awareness.
Shadoobie.
No, I need everybody to make me a distance running test.
Holy shit! I actually am really good at that.
Oh man.
So am I.
I have
Crazy.
I didn't think.
I have parkour and free running.
I didn't think that
Yeah,
was gonna come.
you are not climbing on anything. You are running in a straight line like your life depends on it, so I need you to make me a distance running test.
But wouldn't you know it? I rolled bad.
So
Not terrible though.
is it? I don't have this skill. Do I not add anything to this?
We'll say that for the purposes of this, you can add your physique if you do not have the skill, but it's going to be at a
Oh,
minus
great.
2.
Oh shit. Well, in that case,
Okay.
It's a great day to be a distant runner.
It's always a good day to be a distance runner. I said as a person who hasn't ran in like the last 10 years.
While you guys are rolling these numbers, this is probably only going to take
Roll.
another like 10 to 15 minutes to wrap up. Are we good to keep going?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
All right, awesome. So,
also shout out to Bring Me the Horizon for making the perfect EP to be a soundtrack for this.
so we got a 10, a 9, a 10, and a 9. Is that with your guys' vitamin bonus, or did you not add that in?
I
It's
added
with a
it.
vitamin.
Add vitamins. Add vitamins.
You added all of it in already? All right.
I
So
did
for
not, but no, it's an 11.
So, I almost called you Vivian. Gavin, you will not take any stress damage from this, but everybody else, the fatigue is going to cause everybody to take 5 points of stress damage. as you are
Nice.
pushing yourselves to get to the edge of the hallway, even though your legs are screaming, please fucking stop. And the hallway seems a lot fucking longer than it looked when you had originally seen the exit.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Does stress damage, like, is that one of those things where, like, the higher the number, the worse it is? Or is it like HP where it doesn't matter?
It counts down. It counts down. When you hit 0, so your stress starts maxed out because it's more of a judge of, like, how stressed you, what your capacity is for it, so to speak.
Is there a mechanical difference between having 100 stress versus 84 stress?
No, it's the same thing as hit points.
Got it. Never mind then.
Yeah. You guys are all able to make it through, but not without, once you actually get out onto the street, you are currently inside of a side road that looks out into an overgrown, destroyed New York City. And thinking quickly, you are able to, Dr. Weber, with your previous concentration test, find the fire escape that you knew was going to be out here. It looks rusted over to shit, but it's better get tetanus than it is to succumb to a horde of thousands of unliving enemies.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're going.
I'm not gonna have anybody roll for this because fire escapes are actually kind of easy to get up onto. And once you guys start climbing, it takes about 20 minutes to get from the first floor to the top floor of the Empire State Building if you are not sprinting your way up there.
I imagine once we get like 3 floors up, the adrenaline wears off, and we probably take it slow from there.
Yep, for sure, Z's. And I would like... Who's at the back of the group?
I think in this case, Jack would be. He's putting himself in between the potential horde and the rest of the group.
Then I would like Jack to make me an awareness test.
Sure. Yeah, so I get +2 to awareness, +1 from the vitamin. So that's +3, so that's 9.
9?
Yeah.
For a moment, you almost... It's like... You're pretty sure it's your mind playing tricks on you, but you heard what sounded almost like a whistling noise coming from below you.
I mean, we're on a fire escape, so I look down.
And as you look down, you can see that there is movement shifting in the graded platform underneath you, but it's about 3 floors down, so it's kind of hard to make out what it is that is moving.
I'm going to pull out my 5.56 and look through the scope. Can I see any other details?
Yeah, when you look through the scope, it looks like a human skeleton. Just the whole skeleton has climbed up the fire escape and is currently chasing you. And as you focus, and as you focus in on it, you can hear that whistling noise again, and you realize it's not just the wind. It's the sound of the wind pushing through the bones of the creature.
I'm shooting it.
Go ahead and roll me.
Take aim and clack it.
Yep, roll it.
What does aiming do again? Somebody help me out with that.
It gives you a +1 bonus to your accuracy test if you don't have any assistance via laser sights or optical sights. You have an optical sight from what motherfucking Wartime gave you?
No, I got this up top. I just kind of assumed it with it being a...
So it's got like a magnifier scope on it then?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, so that would increase the range and get rid of any negatives for range penalties.
But it doesn't provide a bonus.
Yeah, it doesn't provide any. It doesn't provide any bonuses. It prevents negatives if it's too far away. Which at the moment it is about 20-ish meters away because it's 3 floors down. I think 20.
Very well within range.
Yeah, 20 meters away. So it's you're good.
So that's, let me see, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17 to hit.
That is a 17 to hit. So that does not crit it. And I need you to roll me a concentration test.
That is a 10.
A 10? You are going to take... Oh, shit. You are going to take 13 points of stress damage as the wind begins to start whipping up and you see a storm is beginning to brew. The clouds, which you couldn't see from the inside of the building that you've been in for at least a good hour at this point, have blown through, and the wind is beginning to pick up and it's getting faster and faster. And not only does this whistling sound have this odd vibration to it, it also, you can hear through the storming and the wind from the skeleton itself this horrifying as the wind rhythmically passes through the skeleton.
It's fucked up.
That is pretty fucked up.
You do hit it. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Uh, 27 points of damage.
All right. Yeah, you fire into it. You take a couple chips off of its what looks to be its rib cage. A couple of the ribs just kind of fly off. And as you catch a glimpse of the bones flying off of this creature's rib cage, you realize it is not just a pale, yellowish-looking skeleton. This skeleton is dyed black, almost as if it is covered and caked in stained, decayed blood.
Ooh.
Can I fire her again?
Yeah, you have one more action, and we'll consider this like a turn, so to speak. You can go ahead and roll one more.
Double sixes?
Double six is nice. Deciding that you really don't fucking like this freak of nature, you pull the bolt back, slide another bullet into the chamber, and once you loose that final shot, the as its head and the bones itself collapse onto the ground, shattering into this awful-looking, sort of ashy-colored goop once the bony head and brain of the creature have left its body. And you guys continue walking up the staircase for what feels like years, as every footfall is harder and harder, but you know that you need to bring this up to the top.
As Jack performs a tactical reload, he just says, "Man, I hate stairs."
Gavin looks back in the whipping wind and the vibrations of the gunshot and says, "What?"
After the 20 minutes pass that it takes you guys to get up to the rooftop of the Empire State Building, you can see that Gramps is there. He is no longer unconscious. He kind of looks over and you can see that he's like leaned up ever so slightly. He's got his gun out and he aims it at you.
And he says, "If you're gonna take me, you ain't gonna do it without a fight."
Whoa! Shit! I just got unturned, man. Don't shoot me again.
What? Oh my goodness.
I said, I just got unturned, man. Don't shoot me again.
Unturned. Does that mean...
And as the rest of you guys come walking up the staircase, he very quickly notices that he is aiming the gun at you guys, his friends in his eyes, and he very quickly lowers the gun down to the ground and wipes the sweat from his head as he reholsters the weapon.
And he looks out and he says, "Oh, how you doing?"
Better than you, certainly.
You can say that
Yeah.
again.
Gavin walks in and
Better
says,
than you, certainly.
"Good one." Says, "Sergio, good to see you. How you holding up?" And collapses on the ground from blood loss.
He says, "I've been doing well, but you gotta get that taken care of. I
I'm
dropped
going to
2 of the
help."
dead when they came up that staircase over there."
I'm gonna help Gavin real quick.
And while the doc is helping Gavin, you know, after seeing that skeleton motherfucker, I'm suddenly less confident that this place is secured at the moment. So I'm gonna grab more rubble and just fucking throw it onto the fire escape stairs.
Yeah, for sure.
So that something would have to climb around the fucking stairs and like up the wall itself to get to us.
Yeah,
Before you,
absolutely.
Is there any good hiding spots in here?
There are plenty of good hiding spots underneath a lot of the rubble that there is like still remaining that hasn't been used. You could probably make some kind of like makeshift barrier out of it, hide behind that.
Great, yeah. Hancock is like, y'all need anything else from me, or can I go snuggle up?
Before everybody leaves, and while the doctor is cutting off his shirt, Gavin is going to look out and say, "This is something that we've all been working for the last 20 years. And I just want to say that whether it's pissing onto New York, or running from a horde of zombies, or firing at fucked up skeletons, I couldn't think of a better group of heroes to do it with. And I'm going to roll Inspire to give everyone some stress back.
Yep, go ahead and roll that.
And I think I get to just choose whatever ability I want with that.
Yeah, you can use as long as it's a personage skill. I would say
Yes.
that because of your speech, you would probably do like a leadership or an inspiration or whatever the skill is called.
Also, I got a 13 to like heal.
Are you using a first aid kit or a bandage,
Yeah,
or
I'm
what are you
using
using?
a first aid kit.
Okay, with a first aid kit, there are no injuries to heal up, so the target number of 10 is just static. It's just a 10. You have definitely succeeded in that, so you are going to heal. You're healing Gavin.
Yeah.
First aid kit is going to heal 4d6.
The 1d6 from the vitamins.
Yep, plus a d6 from the vitamins.
All right.
6.
Everybody gets back a total of 18 points of stress because I am a motivational speaker,
You heal for 16 damage.
and I am back up.
I was at 26 out of 40, I just want to say.
For your stress,
yeah, so you're full. And he took the most, so everybody else should be looking pretty fine.
I was at 26 taken out of 40 available.
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I count up for my HP and stress damage.
Okay, yeah, no, I forgot about that. That's just for sure.
Great. So yeah, once that is said, he's then going to say, "I'm going to pass out now. Everybody else keep an eye out."
All right. So while Gavin and Wartime make settle down for a well-deserved rest, there is still one more final test that needs to be made. Doc, you have retrieved the microscope as well as the various implements required to basically get your lab up and working again. Whatever happened to Dr. Tyler at this point is a mystery, but you have enough of his notes memorized as well as the scraps of what's left over to perform this on your own. I am requiring a final medicine test to see if you can successfully deduce and recreate whatever the magic formula was that got you that first batch of effective curing solution.
Okay, does having... No. Just gonna roll it. Do I get anything extra from being inspired?
Yeah, you get a specialty die.
Okay.
Add vitamin.
Add vitamin. No fucking way. I got out of the 3 die, I got a double 6.
All right, awesome. So, you patch up Gavin. You hear his words and remember that you have worked tirelessly since you've met these people to match your mentor's knowledge. There hasn't been a waking moment for you that hasn't been dedicated to finding out how to counteract the creatures that ended the world. The samples are pulled out of the box, and as you lay them down across the slides, run the numbers, and slot a final vial into the synthesizer, the whirring and the clicking noise of the machine as it does its work and fires UV lights and spins the solution at incredibly high speeds, trying to force that chemical reaction, stops. And as you pull it out and put it under a fresh, clean slide, it is music to your eyes, the perfection that you have crafted. You start putting more and more vials of this into the machine, trying to get as many of these ready to go as you can, and you lose count as everyone hears, after a good 2 hours, the whistling and whipping of the wind as it passes through 3 more skeletons that approach the rooftop. As the alarm is raised and everyone takes arms, a stroke of lightning causes a strobing effect, and the camera fades to black as we roll credits on tonight's session.